Oh man, I'm so excited to watch this movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, you haven't seen the movie yet?
No, it's fine though, because I'm gonna watch it tomorrow, so I'm ready to talk about it.
Whoa! Welcome, everybody, once again to another episode of Cinema Forecast. It is me, your host, Alfredo, and with me, as always, my co-host, Connor.
It's me.
So I'm so sorry, I just stepped on your foot so hard.
No, it's all good, dude. It's all good.
Keep it all in. Speaking of stepping on feet, the man who is the most graceful dancer I've ever met in my life would never step on a foot. And I'm speaking rhetorically, of course, and on the dance floor.
Oh, I've seen him. Yeah, Eugene can bust some moves.
Mr.
quite an
Bust a Move
introduction.
himself, Eugene Belly.
Hello, it's your boy, me. Everything they said about me is true.
Yes. And the three of us are here recording another episode of Cinema Forecast, the movie podcast where every month we are randomly assigned by the legally distinct Movie Roulette a new category with 4 movies attached that we believe fits said category. Each week we take one of those movies and we go in depth. We go so deep talking about it in the context of that category. The category of this month, my good friend Connor, is...
Aliens.
And the film that we're watching today, Eugene, that you haven't seen but you'll watch tomorrow.
Arrival, I think.
Arrival 2016, directed by Denis Villeneuve. A bit of a I feel like a lot of film nerds really appreciate this guy. He's probably a lot of people's sort of like favorite modern director. Definitely up there for me. Especially with his work on like Dune, but even before that with like Prisoners, Enemy, Sicario, the movie that came out the year before this.
Sicario's great. Yeah, I would say definitely number one current sci-fi director for me.
So hot right now.
Yeah, amazing. I will say right from the very jump, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. This is in my top 10, possibly top 5, as Eugene said exactly
Wow.
before the podcast.
As I'm about to say in the future, and then remember.
Yeah. I fucking love this movie so much. I think it's
so good.
Yeah, let's start off with a guest. We usually like to talk about what is your first experience with this film. Do you
Okay.
remember your first experience with this movie?
I'm gonna let the bit go. Yes, I do kind of remember. I think I saw it in theaters, and there's twists and turns in this movie, and it landed so good. I love the language part of it. I love the aliens part of it. I love the philosophy part of it. And when I watched it the second time, which was recently, I forgot the major twist.
Oh,
And I thought I would. I remember there was some time loop shit happening, but I forgot the major twist, and then it hit again really well. So
this is such a good second watch movie because it
Yeah.
totally changes the context of everything happening when you understand why it's happening.
In a cool way, where you haven't been deprived of like re-experiencing the everything. Like the recontextualization is fun. Whereas I think there's other films when the twist is sort of like spoiled. It's just like, you kind
Yeah.
of feel like this feels kind of meaningless watching this now.
Yeah, because I think it's not basing the tension of the movie is not around that twist. That is just like a mystery that is in the movie, but the mystery itself, or like what is happening with Luis's character, is interesting on either side. If you know or if you don't know, it's still fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Connor? You remember your first time watching this one?
Yeah, I think this was, I don't think I saw it in theaters, unfortunately. I think this was the period where I was just, like, seeing what was, like, nominated for the Academy Awards and just kind of, like, going through and seeing if it was good. And, yeah, I think I just watched this in my room that year and was blown away by it.
Nice. This is one of those movies. Talked a lot about seeing films with my dad in theaters. Talked about the critical period of interpretation for film, which is that like car ride back with my dad and I, where we kind of like discuss films. I remember he like lent a lot of weight to a movie, like for example, like Silence, the Martin Scorsese film, which I was kind of like, it was I think in my pre film school era, and I was kind of like, that was boring. And then my dad was like, no, it was so beautiful. Like there's so much to like all of the silence, and I haven't rewatched it, but I definitely felt like in that moment sort of like my opinion like softening and kind of like warming back up to it. And when it came to Arrival, my father has a PhD in linguistics. He's a syntactician. That's the whole reason I was born in the United States, is because he went to study at USC. I always tell people it would be, I don't always, but I often like to bring up that I could have like been born in Boston or like in the Northeast, because my dad wanted to go to MIT, and I just like to picture like the Boston bro version of me, you know, Arrival's wicked pissy, you know, Arrival, me and Smitty watched Arrival, you know, but anyway, big language guy. My undergraduate degree is in psychology. I did a lot of research in language acquisition, bilingualism. So I ultimately ended up very interested in the whole idea of linguistics as well. And so this film really, I think, appealed to that side of both of us. But my dad famously is kind of anti-Sapir-Whorf. He is anti-Sapir-Whorf hypothesis.
Yeah.
Not like fully against it, but he feels like it opens the door to sort of elitism in ways.
Yeah.
And I can understand and I can appreciate that. And but when we were talking about it afterwards, I knew that was gonna be a big like hit for him, where they're like, oh, they're bringing this up. I'm like, Dad, okay, cool, but this is science fiction.
Yeah.
And like the concept that we're working with is, let's work with Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. This movie isn't shoving it down your throat every 2 seconds. It's mentioned like once. And I sort of brought up to him, just think about this idea that like learning a language, spoiler alert, I hope you're ready for these, that like exists independent of like time or created by people who experience time like all sort of at once like that. That it could like sort of meld your way of seeing things. And then he was like, you know what, like I didn't know if I really liked that movie, but you just made me like it.
Interesting.
And we talked about the chess match with your dad and beating your dad at chess and how good that feels. But that felt really good, you know, like as an art like inclined person, and that love to have been like put into me from my father and my mother, but my dad especially with movies. It felt good to be able to be like, Dad, I have like a counter argument, and for him to be like, I accept defeat.
Yeah, and you know, that was something I was kind of keying into this time, is how exactly does this language work and how does it warp time? And there are some really interesting scenes where it points out that there is this kind of psychic connection. Like it seems like it's more than just learning the language. Like for example, where she like has her hand against the glass, and there seems to be this moment of like the distance between them kind of affecting her psychology or whatever's happening with her. Like it's more than just
how well, like quote unquote, she can hear him, right?
Yeah. So there's definitely some, like you said, some strong sci-fi aspects that's more than just, oh, I learned the language and now I can see the future.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one of the most like interesting when you distill it to like, Jurassic Park is about bringing dinosaurs back using like methods of like genetic replication, right? Like breaking it down to like, oh, this movie is kind of about Sapir-Whorf hypothesis and how it can change your perception of time. But speaking on these things, on these themes of this movie, I think this would probably be a great time for our good friend Connor to talk about some of the alien themes for Alien Month.
Yeah, we got 4 of these bad boys.
They're so bad.
And
they're out of this world even, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. And I think all 4 of these are extremely relevant to this movie. We have number 1, fear of the unknown. Number 2, hubris of man. Number 3, wonder of the universe. Number 4, mankind is a collective. I think each one of these is really stands out in this movie, and we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, let's talk some credits, some credentials. This is based on a story called "Story of Your Life." It is a novella by Ted Chiang, who is a sci-fi author. Composer, Connor was laughing about it because he doesn't respect other cultures. No, I'm just joking. Cut that out. The composer is Johan Johansson. He did The Theory of Everything. He did Sicario. We have Bradford Young behind the sticks as our cinematographer. He is known for A Most Violent Year. He also did Solo and Selma as well. And I do want to shout out that it's really awesome to see too, like a cinematographer of color. He is a black man. I really loved seeing that when I looked him up because that was an area of interest of mine when I was in school, like, you know, kind of seeing and highlighting, you know, female cinematographers or cinematographers of color in a fucking this is like an area that like a department that has always been very like male dominated. So
Yeah.
white male dominated. So cool to see that for sure. And then what I was surprised about the most on this is that the script. So we have the story by Ted Chiang. The guy who actually wrote the script, his name is Eric Heiserer, and he did Bird Box, but he also did the Netflix show Shadow and Bone, which is this fantasy show that I was like obsessed with.
Oh.
Which I like really love the vibe of, and I hope there is a season 3. The guy who plays Prince Caspian or whatever I think is in it, and he's what's his name, Ben something. But anyway, he's hot and brooding in that show.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a lot of interesting facts there. I didn't know it was based on a novella. You said
Novella.
that's so cool because actually it kind of deflates one of the things I was hyped about is like, wow, it's so rare to see like an original screenplay that feels like it came from a book. Like this feels like it should be a book.
This is I think that this kind of like adaptation is something that has always happened in Hollywood and something I'm like way more okay with. That like it feels like people, and it's also because this was part of like when I was going to film school, we talked about it. We had a section of our screenwriting class that was like adopting stories, and we read some H.H. Monroe stories and talked about how we would adapt them. And this one definitely feels something like a novella that's like shorter. It doesn't feel like it's this huge cultural monolith. There's not a lot of attachment to all of these things. It's like it feels like a wise.
Yeah.
This is the kind of story I like to see adapted.
This is a deep cut. You could
Yeah,
say.
yeah, for sure. It's like when you're at Homeboy's house and he pulls out like that dusty record and he puts it on and you're like, whoa, this is sick. It's a little like a nice find. You know?
Yeah, I gotta read this novella because, like I just said, this is one of my all-time favorite stories. Like, period. So
Yeah, I mean, it's 10 years later almost since it was released.
Yeah.
Have you
and
read
it's
the
still
book,
so
Eugene?
good. No, I've not, but I was just thinking, I didn't realize.
Are you going to?
Yes, I'm going.
You already did, actually.
This bit's not gonna
So
die, is
so
it?
tell us
Yeah.
about
So
it.
let me hold on. Let me remember when I read it a couple years from now. It's really good.
wow.
I want to take a moment. There's no need to like we're obviously two cute boys just screaming into microphones about movies like out into like the darkness that is the internet. But the void, I guess, is a better way of putting it, especially with the
Love that thing.
what we're talking about. But just kind of contextualize who Eugene is. The three of us have been friends here for a while. Eugene is my longest standing friend in Washington State. We met first in the year 2000. We didn't really become like friends until like I would say maybe like high school, and then like became really good friends playing D&D together. And the funny
Hell
thing
yeah.
is that I reconnected with Connor playing D&D, and Connor brought me into his group with Eugene. And so through Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop role playing, I reconnected with both these guys right here sitting across from me.
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
And I'm very happy that happened.
Yeah, we've
Always
mentioned you on the channel many times at this
Wow.
point, I
So
think. Yeah.
so my reputation precedes me.
It
Is what you're
does,
saying.
it
So I have a lot
does.
to live up to.
And Eugene and I feel like a big part of our friendship is just debating random shit. A lot of times it's movies,
Yeah.
art, politics, philosophy,
Video games.
Yeah, so perfect guest to have on. And he's never seen it before, so we wanted him to watch it. He still hasn't watched it, but I guess
It's
he
okay.
enjoyed it in
I know
the
what I'm
future.
talking about.
Cool. Should we get into it?
We can just leave that with that, but I kind of do want to say like people are probably like what is so fucking funny about him not having seen it?
Yes.
I
Thank you.
think it's a very funny story, right? Where you said to Eugene like you need to see Arrival, you haven't seen it, right? And Eugene is like, you always forget that I've seen this movie and tell me that I need to see it.
And then it became a bit that I've never seen this movie, and I still haven't, and
Yeah.
I probably never
And
will.
it works well with the content,
It
right?
does.
Yeah,
it
when I
does.
reached out to him to record this, I was like, well, since you haven't seen this, like, you should watch it and be on the podcast. He was a good sport about it.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. It is, it is one of my favorite movies, probably of all time.
Yeah.
I remembered
here.
rewatching it. This was my second watch through. I remembered towards the end, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But it gets really philosophical,
He even
and
knows our
I love that shit.
Catchphrase, Alfredo.
What? We'll get there? Yeah. Oh, speaking of
we'll get
catchphrases.
to it.
Yeah, close.
Speaking of catchphrases, do you know what Forrest Whitaker's catchphrase is in this movie?
No.
Let's get started.
I fucking love Forrest Whitaker.
Does he
in this.
say that multiple
He said,
times?
I started a tally. He
No
says
way.
it 5 or 6
No
times.
way.
He either says, let's get started, or we're just getting started, or something like that.
Speaking
5 or 6 times.
Speaking of getting started,
And he
Yeah,
doesn't
let's
have a
get
lot of dialogue.
started.
Speaking of getting started, the way that this all starts with
Oh my
that blank
God.
screen and the beautiful strings, this is definitely one of the. I mean, everyone's been gushing about it. Like, if you don't know, you probably know what the tier ranking is gonna look like at the end. But this is I would say this movie to me is pretty much perfect. The score is so wondrous.
Yeah.
And so emotional.
Yeah, well,
there's so much that is human about it, but there are so many alien aspects to it. And I love how it starts in this very human way, which are these strings, which feel very much almost like the emulating of the sound of people say the sound of a cello is the most similar to the sound of a mother's voice. And there's something about those strings where there is immediately just emotion and gravitas to it. And I was telling Eugene, because we were tallying how many times we cried throughout the movie. And I cry for the first 5 minutes of this.
Yeah.
The whole sort of encapsulation of Hannah's life, Hannah's struggle with cancer, and ultimately her death is wow, so well done. That montage of those scenes and the way they overlap, it is video collage, visual moving collage of the highest order.
Yeah, the way it's just so fucking good. I I wrote down multiple times. Yeah, my eighth note here is already getting misty-eyed.
Yeah.
The music connects me to this feeling. The themes of this movie really speak to me. I'm probably gonna get emotional just talking about this movie because it hits me so hard. I do want to point out though that theme that plays at the beginning of the end is not from Johan Johansson. It is,
I was hoping you'd talk about this.
yeah, it's the On the Nature of Daylight by Max Richter.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that when I first saw it, but yeah, just beautiful piece of music, and every time I hear it, I think of this movie, and it makes me incredibly emotional. And yeah, just right from the start, the black screen, the strings coming in, fading into this dark blue, lonely room. I love that was something I really noticed
And
a
it's
lot
not
this
even
time.
really a fade in, it's a camera movement from a dark corner of the ceiling down, pan
nice.
down.
Nice.
Into the room, looking through the windows. And again, the window I feel is such a big visual component that's matched later on when they go onto the shell, right? And they're looking through the window. Some other aspects of this that I think are amazing. Very shallow depth of field. For those of you who don't know, in a camera, when you open that aperture all the way up, it's just like when you get your pupils dilated. You let in more light, but also the amount of space in which you can focus or depth of field that you have becomes narrower or shallower and shallower. And so that's very much the filmic look of the subject in the foreground that is in oh my God, what's the word for when something is in
Background?
no. When it's sharp, it's in
Contrast?
no.
High definition.
No.
Oh, this is fun.
Focus.
Yeah.
Fucking focus.
Focus, guys.
Oh,
Focus.
yeah.
The in the foreground the subject is in focus and the background will be blurry. And they're playing with this because literally Jeremy Renner is in some of these scenes, but you just can't really make him out because
Yeah.
he is so out of focus
Yeah.
in that very shallow depth of field. Another thing, I don't think we have an official tally, but another movie started with voiceover.
Oh yeah.
But again, really artfully done. It is this sort of poetry to it. I love what she says immediately. It's sowing the seeds of we're so bound by time and its order.
I used to think this was the beginning of your story. Yeah. And her the come back to me with the when it's
Come
just
back to me.
when it's her talking to just her kid, and then again at the hospital by her side, come back to me. It's just or her daughter Hannah saying, I love you, quick cut to I hate you. Just the spectrum of human emotion, experience, what it means to live, what it means to suffer, what is the value of living when you suffer. It's just so good. It's so good.
These are all good points. I would like to address them. First, On the Nature of Daylight
Yeah.
by Max Richter.
Yeah.
He wrote it in 2003. It was originally about the Iraq War. It was
Oh.
part of a protest album.
Oh, I didn't
It
know
was
that.
not very successful at the time, but since then it's been used in many feature films, probably most notably this one, but it's been
There's
used a
also
lot.
there's also that other track off of it called "These Are My Tickle Guns," right?
I don't know about that.
Oh, that's a cute line, though.
However, I also learned that it is a musical palindrome, which is incredibly fitting. It starts one way, it builds up towards the middle, and then it fades out again the
Whoa.
other way, which is kind of how daylight works when you think about it. The sun comes up, it's dark, the sun comes up, then it gets really bright, then it starts setting,
Wow.
and then it goes out again. And guess what this movie's fucking about, boys and girls? Next thing, Fredo, you mentioned the light and the use of light and focus in the movie. So good, especially with the bright window that you were talking about in the beginning, and then the glass in the alien room when you walk in, same kind of shot, and how everyone's kind of in the dark, it's not clear what's going on, and then everything is illuminated when she gets sucked into that room, and it's like blinding white, and you can see everything, and that's when you learn the truth. It's very chiaroscuro, like it's dark on purpose, it's bright on purpose. There's an amazing contrast
Yeah.
between those two in key
For sure.
moments.
And this is something we've talked about previously in the podcast. Something of a fascination of mine when I was younger was the Baroque period.
Yeah.
Caravaggio, like shout out. Oh my God, Artemisa Gentileschi, another really awesome. That sort of style of painting is just like, oh man, it's just so hard not to like see this like one like beautifully lit like subject in the middle of like a sea of darkness, and I love how this movie plays with the opposite of that, with like the alien figures.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fuck man, what a good
good.
movie.
It's
So good.
so good. Just so it was. Okay, one thing. This is the most notes I've taken for any episode, and also the most I've rewinded a movie while watching it. And part of that was I wanted to get the notes, and part of it is I like genuinely just wanted to soak it in more and like get some more of the lore, and like because
Yep.
there's so much like breakdown and like things that happen really quickly where they're explaining very technical like their procedure for understanding the language and stuff. I'm like, okay, I gotta get that. Like I want to hear what they're talking about here. Yeah, and all the time overlapping with
Yeah,
the like it makes it
The cuts.
there's so many moments and so much to write that my hand was cramped by the end.
the prestige of this film as well is really like you infer things because of the way they're presented
Yeah.
to you chronologically in the
Yeah.
film. And how many times am I telling you, Connor, you can't trust what they're showing you,
Yeah.
Can't trust what they're showing you. So the implication is from the start, we see this montage, and then when we see Dr. Louise Banks again, we think she is alone.
She's in mourning.
She's in mourning. She has lost her daughter. A part of her is no longer there, right? And it's an amazing prestige that it's suddenly like, no, like you're like kind of imposing a lot of that sadness yourself.
Yeah.
Like, and she honestly, Amy Adams is amazing. Like, this is such a great example of why she is such like an actor that keeps working and keeps doing these like big movies.
She's great.
Because she's amazing. Like the
Yeah.
amount of emotion that she's able to deliver, and her and the Ren Dog, they're doing so much balancing of
Ren Dog.
like lightness. There's a lot of palette cleansing in this, I think. Like
Yeah.
we've been talking about that as like a concept in film, and honestly, I have been really loving seeing that because as someone who's interested in writing stories, it's cool that this idea of like this scene like can advance the plot, but it also can like chill things out for you a little bit. Like, especially, I love the way that it starts very like sort of like overwhelming emotionally, and then suddenly it is this like unsettling thing, right? Where like now it's like we don't really know where how far after this is, or as we find out later, how much before this is. But yeah, you can just. I love the way like she's like, going through like the campus, and then she walks into class and there's like 5 kids there.
Oh, how they broke the news was so good. It's so, I find it so realistic. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't necessarily hear about it, especially if you don't watch TV. You just go to work and then you don't know what's going on, and there's like 5 kids in your classroom and they're on their phones, and it's like, come on guys, focus.
Yeah, I love that. The way she plays like annoyed with like as like a professor, I thought was a really good call. And also, I guess it does kind of start with her saying, "I'm not sure I believe in beginnings or endings," and then she says something about the day they arrived. So like we
Yeah.
do kind of have that sort of context, but still, it's very like vague. And like you said, I love that like shot of them in the class. And she asked her, "Could you turn the news on?" And she kind of almost looks like she's like, "You're in fucking class. Like, pay attention." But then, like, it hits her. Like, if someone's
Something's
asking me
going
this,
on.
like,
Well, then
what's going
she
on?
starts hearing all the alerts from everyone's phones, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, there's something crazy going on."
There's so much mystique about the
Yeah.
aliens. There's a good
I
like,
don't think
half
this
an
is part
hour
of the X-Men
movie.
universe, man. I'm sorry.
I mean, you never know. She's a shapeshifter. She
She's a
could be in the
heptapod?
movie. She could be in a movie.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things in alien movies, which is the slow burn build up to the reveal, the tension of the
It's
what
so
is
good.
it, right? The wonder of the universe we were talking. Like it reminded me, it was giving me a lot of Alien vibes, right? That really slow burn of like, oh, like the first time you see the ship in Alien, right? It's through one of those like it's through a camera and you're seeing like a distorted image of it, and like so much of this introduction to the aliens is them just not letting you see it, and you just keep leaning closer and closer into the screen to try to get a peek, right? Like when she turns on the TV, they don't show you what's on the TV. They show her. They just show her face reacting to it, and then it cuts to the classroom reacting to it, and then the alarm goes off, and it's
And
like,
the way it comes off is so jarring, dude.
yeah,
It is like there's this like quietness of like contemplation and the tension, and then some like and like whoa, fuck.
yeah.
I did say there's this bleakness, this impending
Yes.
terror
Yeah.
that ultimately never manifests.
Yeah.
It's like the not knowing if they come in peace or not, and that is the protracted conflict of the communication. I also just have to say that as like the genre of like alien movies, when we're talking about it, communication in the day because this does feel a little bit of the day the Earth stood still.
Absolutely.
And we were talking about, we kind of hinted that this E.T., the day the Earth stood still, are kind of their, like, they are this one genre of alien movie. And then the movie Alien itself kind of sits on its own because, again, all of these other movies taking place on Earth where we're being visited. Whereas with the Alien, it is they are out in space and they like go poking their noses where they probably shouldn't, you know?
Yeah, it's you are in the alien's territory more than the alien being in your territory, and especially with the day the Earth stood still versus Arrival, it's like very much society as a whole reacting to aliens, and what is society when we realize that we are not the biggest fish in the pond, basically.
And I do love the aspect of it that does kind of link up with the whole thing from the day the Earth stood still. That this is ultimately like you guys should work together. Like I don't care if you don't want to work together, you have to work together. If like you want
Yeah.
your planet to have a future.
That's a great point. Yeah, I wonder if there's any inspiration there, because yeah, the aliens in this one are forcing humanity to work together in the same way. That's a really good point.
Yeah, who knows if it is on purpose, but it's definitely it definitely feels like
I mean, it seems pretty purposeful, right? They have 1/12 of the message that they're trying to get.
yeah,
them.
for sure. I feel like I mean like is it a direct thing or just the idea that the day the Earth stood still introduced or is one of the stories that we know that really like pushes this idea of like aliens coming should bring us together because it seems like a natural sort of progression
Yeah.
in like an alien arrival
yeah.
story, you know?
Yeah.
So
in
that's the
terms
part of it where I like how direct of an homage is
Oh
it?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a direct homage or it could even be an homage to a movie that was inspired by the day the Earth stood still kind of thing. You know, like the
Like the day the Earth stood still, the remake with
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
it was
where
definitely
he
inspired by
where
the
he
remake.
plays Klaatu.
yes. Yeah, and just again, like Eugene was saying, the way they just like really drag out this tension here. So we get the fire alarm going off. She's in the parking lot. There's a car crash. People are scared. They're confused. They're panicking.
People are not paying
Yeah,
attention.
There's
yeah.
there's
Fighter
jets flying
jets,
over.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just
So
like
loud.
such good tension building. And then yeah, getting home, she's listening to the radio. She's completely plugged in. Such a relatable thing. I don't know about you guys, but when there's like a big thing in like politics going on, I just have
Yeah.
listening, checking, seeing what's going on.
Yeah, and I love the way they also come back to the house. Like
Yeah.
you see, she's
Come back
still
to
living
me.
here. There's a lot of pain
Yeah.
like resonating through these like rooms. And I love the line with the mom where she says, "Mom, please don't bother with that channel." Love the little jab, a little bit of a
Yeah.
jab. We all know which news channel she's talking
Yeah,
about.
but Dewey, because they didn't say the name of the news channel, they didn't hint anything besides it's the channel that you disagree with, or it's the channel that I disagree
Yeah,
with.
absolutely. Sure. I see where you're coming from, but I think it's supposed to be a specific news channel. Absolutely.
Oh, sure. I mean, now, if I could do a little bit right here. Pre-movie thoughts came out in 2016, right? We're in 2025. What happened in 2016? Brexit and Trump. There were a lot of police shootings, the Pulse nightclub shooting. There were riots. The whole Brock Turner thing was going on. And it was really the start of fake news. It was the era of fear and faith. There wasn't really fake news before 2016. That was kind of a thing that the term at least developed. So
For
I
sure.
think the movie's still made in the context of that time, only 9 years ago. But in that time, there was a different way that media referred to the news. I think if you were to remake the movie today, it would lean probably a lot heavier into something like that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I do think they do make a point of the danger of media, and I think they do criticize, not to I guess we're beating around the bush here, but like right wing conservative media, right?
Yeah, it's
is
Fox Media is like the
is
implication.
it, and there's a big plot point
Fox News, sorry.
later which really escalates things, and that's sparked by some belligerent.
But that's also that's
Newscaster.
literally the like
Or
soldiers
podcast.
listening to like a
Alex
podcast. It's
Yeah.
so fun. We
Yeah.
could be doing that to people. We have to watch what we say.
Yeah.
The podcasters have the real power these days. I do feel though like it felt even then like when I watched it like because even I remember the 2008 election, the shit that people were talking, like the things that were being said about Obama, you know, like on certain news outlets. Fuck it, I'll say it on Fox News about like how legitimate like his like American citizenship was and stuff. But yeah, it's a nice little throwaway, but it also like speaks so much to like the soul, like one of the major themes of this movie, like what you're saying, Connor, which is like the like catastrophizing, everyone freaking out, the us versus them. And yeah, the sort of fear mongering that is so present, honestly, in all corners of media, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And she has this line on the phone with her mom here. You know me, I'm just the same. I think that's what she says, something along those lines. Really just painting her as this sad, lonely person. And with that, like you were saying earlier, the context of you think she just lost her daughter, she lost her husband, and this is the lonely time of her life, right? But the lonely time of her life is before all that. And I think that's so beautiful to the message of the story, which is that the pain is worth it, the suffering is worth it for when that living room isn't so dark and cold and lonely.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The memories themselves are like worth it. As far as like little factoids we're getting, or like, sorry, factoids is a funny word, but we'll stick with it. So like what's going on, we hear from the news in the classroom originally that something has touched down in Montana, and then we hear something about 9 other locations, and then ultimately we do hear it is 12 locations around the world where these so-called shells have landed, but not really landed. They're like floating above the earth.
Yeah, and the first shot you see of one is she's on the couch watching the news, and it's just like the bottom of one hovering over the ocean, and you can just kind of make it out. And it's just like, again, that feeling of just like wanting to lean in a little closer and like, wait, what is that? It's such a perfect intrigue builder, the way they set this up. I love it.
Yeah, and I love the shots of her watching TV, her in bed. It is so lonely feeling. Like we were supposed to record this episode a week ago actually, but I was not feeling well, so we didn't end up doing it. And that was me, dude. That was me binging all of Love Island, like sitting on my side, like, guys, stop yelling at Amaya. Like, just because you guys aren't in touch with your feelings doesn't mean that you have to silence her or tell her how to communicate. Love Island is actually a lot about communication as well.
Wow.
Just like Arrival, you know?
Wow.
Shout out all my Love Island heads. I saw the meme and I wanted to participate. The meme of the summer, right, Eugene?
Yeah, it's the meme of the
My
summer.
dream date,
My
and
dream
he knows
date.
it.
Yep, yep. You heard it here first.
Speaking-
2025.
Man, okay, we'll make a meme for this episode with that. And it'll be like, so what was the date? It was just like watching Arrival. Cute. My dream date. And he
and
knows
he knows
that.
it. I want to speak a little bit to her loneliness. I
Yep.
didn't pick up on her loneliness. What I picked up on was everybody around her is losing their shit, and she couldn't care less.
I love
She's
that.
just going about her day. She goes back to work
I
the
love
next
it, yeah.
day, and the college is totally
No
empty.
one's there.
And she's just like, okay, well, I guess nobody's here. Guess I'll go to my office and
Yeah.
just work there. And it's like, and then I had the thought, is it because she's already in the time loop? Because she's not surprised? Because she knows somewhere deep inside of her that this has already happened or is about to happen.
Yeah, I mean, let's not waste 5 hours talking about this. Shout out to Raul. He recently told me he finished the Dune episode. Thank you so very much. You are a gem. But let us engage with this slightly, because I do have this feeling that there is like, it's almost like once like if you're tapped in the future, like I agree. Like ultimately is what I mean to say is
Really?
like I think that she is kind of a little tapped into it. Like if we're talking about because there's two different things at play here. There is the artistic presentation of the story and like what we're trying to evoke, and then there's of course the reality of what's being lived through those moments as the characters. And I think for her, yeah, it is kind of like there's almost this like, but you see how nervous she is as well. Like, and you see her hands shaking in a lot of scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there is this like weirdly like accepting part of her.
I disagree that she is already tapping into that future stuff because, like you were saying, I think there's a lot of signs that of when she starts tapping into it and like how much anxiety around the things leading up to that is. I take it more is that she is not living her life to her fullest. She's detached. She's lonely. She's separated. I take it almost more that she's not reacting as in such a big way because she's kind of depressed.
I'll say this too. I don't think she is. I think it's a Rorschach test as well. Like I think it's literally like I primed you. Her daughter is dead. Now you see her, and like when I'm sitting on the couch watching TV, I'm not like smiling like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And she just has kind of like a serious look on her face. And it feels like it is like sort of this trick of cinema of like by implying some. I would be so curious and so interested to know like what's the approach for how you directed this? Like how is Denny approaching the actors and like what is their motivation for those specific scenes? And also I want to clarify too, when I say she's tapping into it, no, she's not tapping into it. It's like if your brain, if that's going to happen to your brain where you're in touch with your whole time loop or whatever, like to me, it makes sense that even when you don't realize, like when you're not self-realized and have the tool to like understand it, there's something maybe going on there. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Like, I like that read.
I think it's super interesting read. Not saying you're wrong. My take on it, like the reason I feel like she's lonely and sad is through the way it's shot, and maybe like you're saying that is just misdirection.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
But I would say that the way it's showing how blue and like dark and lonely feeling through the way it's shot versus when she makes the decision, even knowing that she's going to lose it all, how like lit up the room is. To me, it's showing maybe she's not depressed, maybe it's not as bad as I'm saying, but to me it's showing that she's not fully living at this point, and it's her journey through this movie that gets her to buy into wanting to
I think
take
two
that
things can be
that
true
risk.
as well. Like because obviously she isn't self-actualized if she has the ability to tap into like this perception of time and she's not doing it. Like it's por qué no los dos a little bit, you know? Like yeah, there is this like she is capable of so much and she isn't achieving it. But I do really like, one of my favorite things about it is the like that it is this like almost psychology test, this like I said, like a Rorschach test of like, I told you her daughter's dead, Like now, of course, every scene it's just the power of those that context, you know? I
Yeah.
being, of course, the king of context, I appreciate the power of context.
I guess for me, it's a bit of a sticking point just because I think it's an important part of the theme of the movie, which is like one of the things that makes me so emotional in this movie is that she's not like I said, she has that quote to her mom, "You know me, I'm the same." Like it sounds like she's not really living life to the fullest. And why that is, you don't know. Well, there's some moments throughout the movie, right? Like of her talking to Ian, being like, well, this is why, I end up single or whatever. Like there's this feeling that
Yeah, I mean,
she's
that's what he says to her. And then she says, you can understand communication and
and
still
still,
be single.
yeah. And so there's this feeling of, I don't know, kind of like being shut out from the world to me. I think there's even a scene we see her kind of like chugging wine in one of the flashbacks that's kind of suggesting that she's in kind of a dark spiral a little bit. And to me, that the theme that's so emotional.
That's so interesting because I saw that as a happy time of her drinking wine and she's drinking wine with him.
Yeah, they're about to make a baby.
I think that I might be thinking of a different part, but
Yeah, there
we'll
was-
get
No,
there.
There
well, I
was different
honestly,
wine
I was
scenes.
watching for the wine so much because the wine is on the table in the first part.
Right.
And then when the camera comes down, when she comes home, when there's no one in the home, there's no wine on the table. And to me, the wine did very much feel like almost a symbol of like their partnership with like the two glasses.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I'll have to revisit my notes when we get to that section. I guess what I'm saying is that the real emotional beat that hits me so hard is that there's almost like this vibe I'm getting that she's afraid to live, and when she sees what she's afraid of, which is the worst possible truth you could imagine, which is your child dying of a disease at a young age, she like owns it and accepts it and lives it and like chooses that life anyway, and then the room isn't so dark and lonely anymore.
I
More
think
fati,
there
baby.
is like, but I think there's like the spark of the interest as well that I think like almost I think implies this like maybe not fully conscious understanding, but maybe the subconscious like draw to this change that is going to not just resonate through your present, but through your past and your future.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. We'll keep discussing as we go, I'm sure. The next scene, she's back at school, like we were saying. There's no students now, so she just goes to her office. She's watching the news in there.
FBI goons show up and tell her the government needs your help.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Okay.
Colonel Weber.
You
Forrest Whitaker's so cool
Let's
in
get
this movie.
started.
Yeah, he's really great. So you said you have, or like this is a perfect movie. I mostly agree. I do think like I have some small critiques here and there, and it's like very like minor stuff that is very debatable. Which there's some stuff that I feel like is a little heavy-handed just to make the point of the film, and
Agreed.
some of the stuff with like just the way the military is like so close-minded, like they can't. Like everything, he has to make it as difficult as possible for her to do her job.
I don't actually think that's true. I think that they actually kind of get like a nicer light than I've seen in other movies. Like the way, like what I love about the relationship later on is that it's like you need to give me something that keeps you here. Like this is results based. It's almost like, I'm sorry, but this is how we interpret things.
He was on her side the whole time.
Yeah, and then she would say something, and it's not like she had to sit there and like fight him on it. It's like, okay, that's good enough for now. Works.
Yeah, it's just little moments like when he comes in, he's showing her the recording of the alien, and he's like, "Do you hear any words, phrases?" And it's like, "Come on, bro!"
Yeah,
like what?
I also wrote that was a little silly that they would show up to. Okay, she's a linguistics professor, great, but like, if I played you a sound of like tire tracks like squealing and be like, "Do you hear words? Do you hear phrases?"
Yeah, it was just a
like,
little.
That's not how you approach it at all. It's I got the impression it's mostly for us as the audience to be like, okay, aliens are here. This is for real. The government's here. We need to know what they're talking about.
I take it as them like that. It's a discussion about how impatient, like he is, right? Like there's no time to
It's
communicate.
the desperation.
Yeah.
There's
of
no
the
time.
situation.
There's no time
Yeah,
to
time to go.
like figure this out or anything. But it's just like there's some moments like that where I'm like it's not awful, but I'm just like It's a little much. I feel like it feels unrealistic to make a point to an extent.
Word. Yeah, I think it's funny because the thing about that scene that struck me the most was you made fast work of those insurgent
Yeah.
videos. You made fast work of those insurgents.
Great line, yeah.
Yeah, that feels a little bit cheesy to
Oh,
me.
really?
As well.
I like
It's
that.
it's like a comic book line.
I don't mind it. Again, I am like it's not taking me out of it. But I thought that it was a little bit funny. That felt like a little bit more on the heavy-handed side than some of the other things
Yeah,
for me.
I think that
I also
yeah.
what I made a note of
It
too
is
is like,
snappy,
oh, you
though.
can see how she might be like she might be hesitant to work with them because of that, right? Like, so I kind of
Mhm.
like that they throw out that information. But then it is kind of like no, she definitely wants to. Like,
Mhm.
there is no like she's not like detracted from it at all. Speaking into her, this sort of like she is so like drawn to this whole case.
Mhm. She plays that, I think, so perfectly. I think that scene is mostly for the audience, but she does such a wonderful job of acting that part specifically, where she's trying to explain to him, no, I can't translate this. This is just a bunch of random sounds. I have to do this, that, and the other. But
Yeah.
also, she wants to go meet the
Yeah.
aliens. Like Connor was saying, her life is boring and lonely. And what happened before this moment in her life? It doesn't matter because this is it. Aliens are here. Now's my chance to be the person in charge of talking to these aliens, and this guy wants me to translate some weird sounds on a thing, and I can't do it. But then she's like, oh, it was so good when she says, oh, are you going to that school? Are you going to talk to that professor? Well, do me a favor and
Yeah.
ask him what, what war means
Yeah.
in Sanskrit.
Yeah.
And then when they leave, the camera zooms in on her face, and you could tell, oh, so good, that she's like, oh no, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Well, she already knows what's gonna happen as well. You know.
Because she's in the time loop.
But you know what I did have a note, so like she is amazing. Like it's a really good like performance. And I think what you're getting at, Eugene, is that it's a demonstration of what she is able to do and her limitations, right?
Yeah.
It's like this very practical like and there is something I think if you think of it in a very shorthanded way, like, yeah, the government's not gonna want to like fly you out to like this whole site and everything. And I mean he kind of gives the reasoning of like we don't want it to just be like a fucking like
Yeah,
all these
tourist.
different people with top like secret clearance like hanging out to meet the aliens. And I love the way that like later on she says, am I the only one having trouble saying the word alien? And in this scene she says, is that? And he goes, yes. And then she goes, how many? And then he's like, what? How many what? Because you see how shook she
Yeah.
is by like, is that? But then immediately is like on to like how many speakers are we working with?
Yeah.
And that we can see that she does have like because her implication there is like it sounds like there's more than one creature talking.
Yeah, she's extremely capable. We love. I mean, she would fit the people who are good at stuff category. Like,
Oh yeah, she's really good at stuff.
extremely good at her job. And she kind of saves the world to an extent.
No, she definitely does.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue General Shang saves the world
yeah.
by tapping into her time bending abilities.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, he picked up what she was putting down by telling her his number and also his wife's dying words.
Yeah, which were like, subscribe, and comment.
Yeah, it's crazy. We translated it.
Yeah, I really love the way that we get her after this whole interaction and like her saying the thing about Danvers, who is the guy in Berkeley.
Yeah.
She's watching more TV, looking sad, and like she's not self-actualized. And then we get like her lying in bed, and you hear the distant sound of the helicopter blades, and then he lands, and the whole reveal of like what did he say? And he said means an it's what's the word again? It's gavasti. It means an argument. And he says, "What do you say?" And she says, "A desire for more cows," which is such a
Great
fun
line.
like quick like. Where are these people like coming from? Like she has this level of nuance in her understanding of language, where it's like it's not so like A to B, right? It is this sort of like almost like Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, like being applied already, where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know, I love it, and it's cute, it's funny.
Yeah, I did have a little like prickle in my head where I was like, do they have the nuance to understand why his answer was bad? Like, I'm a little like, I wasn't totally sold or like totally understood
Yeah.
why they knew that she was the right
My
choice.
reading on that is that Colonel Weber is not. He wants to avoid like armed conflict in any way possible, and so the fact that the guy sees war as an argument
Mhm.
versus a like a breakdown in an economic exchange,
Yeah.
I think he sees that she is going to be able to provide, even if she's worse, she's at least going to look for like non-violent avenues. It comes up again with the mahjong thing later on, you know.
No, for sure. I was just I was questioning, I guess, the way they set up him to be so impatient, to have so much kind of like to be able to step back enough and have that wisdom in that moment.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah, I think though the impatience, I really, it's very easy for me to compartmentalize it as like the like pressure from the superiors, right?
which is a big part of this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
for sure.
But he is like, yeah, again, casting goes a long way in this part because Forrest Whitaker, you just feel like you can see him being a hard ass, but kind of being on your side in a way.
Yeah, great character.
I wrote down that in the scene where she's sitting at home at night before the helicopter shows up, it is so dark.
Yeah.
It is so dark you can't see anything, and that's on purpose. And then the helicopter shows up, and you can't see anything anyway because it's so
Yeah.
bright.
Yeah, and to kind of also drill in like that theme I'm talking about of her leaving this lonely life behind. They have the same shot of the living room with the helicopter like flying away from
Yeah.
it dramatically, right? Like you're
Mhm.
seeing
The shot
they
comes
keep
up
showing.
several times.
Yeah, they keep showing the living room under different contexts. That's
So
why I
good.
feel like it's really trying to say something with that.
I think it is this representation of like a living room is such a good like visual metaphor for your mind or
Yeah.
your mind state or your emotional state,
Yeah.
your personality, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And there is the like again, it's her living room where there's this huge window that looks out upon this like almost incomprehensible natural beauty that is like that like water, like
Yeah, I mean,
right.
what a spot she has.
It's
Holy shit.
it's a great. It's also again like a visual metaphor for her encounter with the aliens,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, the big window and
I-
the screen.
I do love. There's a lot of little things with blocking, sound design and other things, and this scene in the helicopter is included in that really sort of point at communication and communication breakdowns, like the way that she's like
Oh.
sitting there in the helicopter and she hasn't put on her like headphones or her like headset, and which we're all wearing our helicopter headsets right now. And we're in the helipod.
Hey.
But
Heptapoctor.
the way that like Ian Donnelly starts talking to her, the Ren Dog,
The
Jeremy
Ren
Renner's
Dog.
character, how he
J-Ren.
starts talking to her and she can't understand anything she's saying. I love how when she puts it on, she even says, "I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you were saying." Too, like it's just
Yeah, that's a good point. I
literally what this is like. It's what the movie's about. It's one of those fun like
Mhm.
almost like Peter Griffin moments.
Yeah.
Like when later on Weber says arrive or whatever, or like
Totally.
they've arrived or something like that.
Totally. Yeah, and also just want to touch on the helicopter leaving. I wrote down next to that note hero's journey because it really does feel like that's the like crossing the
Yeah.
threshold moment. I was getting a lot of hero's journey vibes in this movie, like her where she starts and where she ends.
Yeah, she departs into the unknown, dude. I mean, she masters the weapon that they give them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like him quoting her book to her,
Yeah.
and she doesn't really remember that that's her.
Yeah.
Mm.
But he's like, yeah, that's good. And he's like, but you're wrong. The cornerstone of civilization isn't language, it's science.
Yeah.
To which counter argument, how do you do science without language?
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
That's interesting points. Interesting
I'm Team
points.
Louise on this one.
Yeah, I think I am too. Now that you guys phrase it like that, because it's like, well, yeah, you're not gonna be able to communicate your science with anyone without language. Silly.
That was
silly boy.
that was even a problem with language. It was a problem because people used different units,
Mhm.
you know, or like units weren't
still do.
standardized. Like that shit still happens.
I am curious if the commenters, the listeners, have any thoughts about this. I would like to like hear what you think is the cornerstone. Like, do you see that? Because I can see an argument for science being the cornerstone, right? Like, the way we would communicate with aliens first.
I think
Sharing tools.
I also think it's like, is it perhaps like too reductive to make them separate? Like,
Yeah.
is language not like I feel like it's a tool of science in a way, right? Like
Interesting, yeah.
there is this. Yeah, I don't know if it. I would argue I would definitely go with language for sure, because I mean, when you look at the way that humans have evolved and the way that our communities have like reached the level of complexity they have, it's so attributed to the spoken word and then by extension the written word.
Right.
you know?
Well, I don't think you have science without people working together, and people work
Exactly.
together
Yes,
through
exactly.
language.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, you
Exactly.
can have cavemen, you know, grunting and sharing sticks and rocks and showing each other how to use a stick and a rock, but you're not going to have intertribal communication without first evolving to the point where you need language.
Yeah.
But overall, I saw this scene as another kind of, this is for the audience. What does the audience need to know? Oh, well, the audience needs to know that Jeremy Renner is a science guy and
Theoretical
she's a
physicist.
language girl. Do we
Yeah.
ever learn that that's his field?
Yes,
That's what he says.
That's how
Okay.
he's introduced immediately.
Okay, great. I totally blanked on that part.
it
He was
was-
just the science
It
guy.
was
and it
Whitaker's
comes up later.
response to him being like, it's not language, it's science. And
Yeah.
he's like, he's a theoretical physicist.
And that comes up later with the, if you want science, ask your father.
Yeah, yeah. I am.
That distinction is drawn very clearly.
Yeah.
I really like how he is like sort of the comedic relief.
Yeah.
He serves a lot of these palate cleansing
Yes.
moments, but also like, dude, don't count Louise out. She's funny because I love the way she says, "Why don't we just talk to them before we start throwing a bunch of math problems
yeah,
at
I
them?"
wrote that down
Because he
too.
wants to show them the
He wants to show 'em
Fibonacci
off. Yep,
sequence.
Yeah.
yep.
He wants to see, and later on, it's so interesting that they can't work our algebra, which like, and he's
Yeah.
like, that makes no fucking sense. What the fuck?
Yeah. They can understand our complex math. I can't understand algebra. I thought that was really interesting too. Yeah, and I, for whatever reason, and even as much as I love this movie, for some reason, I was thinking like, when he showed up on camera, I'm like, do I really like this character?
Yeah.
Is he kind of a wet blanket in this movie? Let's see. And then I do like him a lot. He's like a little silly. I don't think he has the strongest writing in the movie. But I like
Let's
how
make a baby.
I like how
I would make
how
a baby with him.
excited, how nerdy he is about this whole situation. Like, he reminds me of like my buddies who are just like into
That's-
sci-fi, you know?
That's
like,
such an interesting read because I got a completely different read
Oh,
from
yeah.
that scene, which is he's doing the man in academia thing where he's justifying his value to the person that hired him, which is, you know, oh, why are you here? Oh, well, I'm here for science. And also beyond that, we need to understand their ship. And also we need to understand this. And here's all the different things that
He has
I
all
know
the
that makes me valuable for
deliverables,
this.
yeah.
Interesting.
And then she says the line where it's like, well, let's ask him a few questions first.
I would lean on the side of him just being kind of giddy here, just based on the way he acts the
was
rest
excited.
of the movie.
Yeah, he
where
was like laughing when they were approaching the thing.
Yeah.
I want to do a quick shout out to Jeremy Renner because for the first like hour and a half of this movie, whenever the camera shifts to him, he just kind of makes a face. He's just there to make faces, and that's it.
Yeah.
Until the end when he becomes important
That
to the
was
main character.
that was in my notes as well. Was the sort of like there's so much face acting, like
Yeah.
a lot of face work in this. It is a lot of like reacting to things, and I think the cast does a great job with it. Yeah, I like Rendog. I think he's funny. He's left-handed. We know I got a soft spot for those fools. And I do like their little bit of their. It feels very much like my parents. My dad, he was a college professor. A lot of his friends are professors, and there's this big humanities versus science thing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? And I mean, it's so funny because later on he even says like, "What I admire most about you is that you approach linguistics mathematically."
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like a
Which
mathematician.
and she's
yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna take. I guess I'll take that as a compliment. But it is this like, I think, cute, very like academic
Respect.
present thing, which is humanities versus like
Yeah.
sciences, right? Like,
Yeah.
Love some academic rivalry,
yeah, it's fun. And
especially
then
if it leads to making babies.
it is interesting because there's the moment later on where she says like, I feel like you and I are the only ones making progress or something like
Mhm.
that. So it is interesting, like, because Yeah,
I mean, he cracks some stuff too. Like
Yeah.
he's clearly extremely intelligent. And yeah, I just love their dynamic in that way and how they like. It's just such an interesting way to explore aliens, which is the like the fun sciencey part of it with the more emotional. Like, let's just try to have a conversation with them. It's great. Um,
But it was mathematical.
yeah,
it was like it was a very like I love this. We love a cool fucking team and shit. Just want to say the first shot of the floating space
oh
egg
my god,
with the fog
dude.
around it, like the full shot is
Mm.
amazing.
And the sound
Yes.
won the Oscar for sound design, by the
Dude,
way.
the
Nice.
sound design and the score and the way the aliens speak all like work together so well.
Mm.
Like so good.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually thought that the composer was Hans Zimmer when I watched it, and then it wasn't until I looked it up again. I'm like, oh, it's not,
It does have a
because
vibe.
it sounds so much like the droning stuff that Hans Zimmer is doing in Dune, and I thought like, oh, this is like
Yeah.
him, like his first shot at that, but it almost feels like Hans Zimmer like took this as a reference for how do you do music in a Villeneuve movie. Which is like, or a sci-fi Villeneuve movie, right? Which is this droning, like more like not melodic, just like vibe based, right? Just setting this tone, this imposing tone. Yeah,
Love the sound design
yeah, it's so good. Uh,
and the visuals.
just
And this is like the first part that it's bright and sunny.
oh yeah, that's a good point. Interesting, yeah, which is really fits into that kind of like this
Light
is
and dark.
yeah, this is her kind of stepping out of her shell in a way.
I also, because this is a movie about aliens, there is kind of a crop circle in this movie. I may be stretching, but the base camp kind of looks like a little crop
Oh,
circle, and it's the
interesting.
humans that made it, not the aliens.
Interesting. I do like the shot of the camera kind of rotating around the military camp.
Yes.
Just like looks so good.
It makes it look like a circle.
I'll have to keep my eye out for that one.
I'm stretching.
We get like a cool kind of. I was wondering. This is kind of a long sequence of her like arriving.
Arriving.
Oh my gosh! I cracked the
Her
code.
arrival.
And this is what I was saying about we love like a cool team. Like I love sort of like, all right, here are the military people, and as they're walking through and then they get their like health checkup, I get so hyped when they start walking into like the room with the actual scientists
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like linguists and people speaking
The
like
pros.
translators and all this shit where you're like, okay, this is where the actual shit is going down.
Right, and she asks, what was up with the person being like taken away, and it's just again such good tension building. Not everyone is able to handle experiences like this, is what she's told, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, what kind of experience are we about to have? Like,
Not
it's
everyone
so
can
good.
process situations like this.
And,
Yes.
and for first-time watchers, we still don't know anything about them. We don't know anything about the
Yeah.
aliens. We don't know
Yeah.
where this is going.
Yeah,
Maybe they're hostile.
Yeah.
Maybe there's who knows what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
She doesn't. Nobody explained to her what was going on, even though apparently they've already been interacting with them for a while.
And this is also where we're introduced to Marks, who's kind of like their handler.
yeah.
lot.
What is this actor's name, man? I think he's kind of
He
Like,
looks like
His name is Mark O'Brien.
uh,
Did you hear me?
is it Marco? Oh wait. Oh, okay. I'm thinking of Michael Stolberg is
Yeah,
is-
Agent Halpern, yes.
Yes.
No, I'm
Agent
talking
Halpern.
about their handler, who
Yeah, yeah.
ultimately is the one involved in
Yep.
setting up the bomb
Okay,
later
yeah.
on.
I was mixing them
Oh,
up.
that was the same guy. Okay.
Yeah, so he's
yeah.
like he's very like cold and short with them, like
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
and you know the way he's like he you can see there's almost resent from like the beginning, and then even with the doctor, like the way that he's asking, like, there's there's very tense, very serious, very unwelcoming vibe.
Yeah.
And I do love the way that they hang on the question, like, "Are you pregnant?" And she's like, "No," and you're just like, "Oh,
Yeah,
so
yes,
sad."
that's so good because she hasn't been pregnant, presumably at that point. But we, as the audience,
Yeah.
are like, "Oh yeah, she lost her kid." This
Right.
is, this is
It
horrible.
keeps reminding you of something that isn't even.
It's
the case.
misleading you.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's
lying
really good
to
though.
you.
But yeah, like you were
It's like
saying,
a magic trick.
this unwelcoming vibe. I also just noted the just like how bureaucratic it felt. Like they got the lanyards, and then they get all the questions, and then they have to get the vaccine,
Boosters,
and like
yeah.
the booster, yeah. And it just felt like it was kind of just contrasting how, to me, how Luis can kind of come into these situations and just like I don't know, fit into it in such a human way where it's not so mathematical. Like, I guess it felt like the contrast to the science of the movie in a way where it's like, we have to do
Yeah.
everything by the numbers and beep, 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 beep. And she's very much just like, okay, well, let's
Let's have
talk
a
to them, you know?
conversation.
Yeah, she does a good job of like communicating with some of the other characters. There's examples of her doing a good job communicating, and then funnily enough, for drama purposes, there's like parts where you're like, I'm like, Louise, you're not being a very good communicator right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of the handler, he, I believe, is the first character, this comes later, where we have a shot of just him, and it's not Amy Adams. For the first, 40 minutes or something, we just have Amy Adams, and we're just following Amy Adams in every scene until later he's having a call with his family. So that's
Yeah, and
when
then
things
there's
start
also-
changing.
Well, there's a lot of the news
Interesting.
shots, and then there's the shots around the barracks as well.
Right, yeah, the scenic shots.
But you mean
you're right.
like in terms of shots
Like in terms
of
of
people?
a
No, but
different
there's a
character
shot,
now.
No, there's also a shot in the barracks where he is with another soldier, and they're watching this guy on
Yep.
his online
The-
radio
yeah.
show or whatever.
Right. We see them talking to representatives from around the world, which is a very important thread throughout the movie.
Cooperation.
Yeah, the cooperation slowly deteriorating, like mankind's reaction and ability to work together really being focused and highlighted in the movie. And I think this is when we meet Agent Halpern.
Yeah,
right?
this is when they meet.
Mhm.
the
Yeah, no,
CIA guy.
I just what stood out to me this time is every other time I've watched this movie, I'm like, fuck that guy, and this time I'm like, oh man, he's so good at acting this fuck that guy. Like it's a very like understated performance, but I actually think it's like really good in that he is holding so much.
I don't even hate him.
Yeah.
I
get it.
It's almost like these different people are presenting necessary things.
Yeah.
I think he is of course quote unquote pessimistic or realistic to a fault, right? In certain situations, thinking that violence is always what's gonna come. But I think the ideas he presents are you want someone to be able to be like, hey man, maybe they're trying to pit us against each other, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember how this line comes up, but it's one of the first signs of he's always going to assume the worst throughout this movie. Where it's something about the gases and how
the
they can shut the
atmosphere.
door, the atmosphere, and he says, "Oh, so you're saying they could suffocate us, right?"
Yep,
Immediately,
that's his first
Yeah.
thought of how can this be used against us. That's
Right.
a character. Yeah, you're right.
And what I love is that he's not even the one who says it, but later on, what Colonel Weber says is everything you tell me and everything you tell them, my superiors are asking me, how can that be used
Right.
against us? And he's the manifestation of that, as a character
right.
throughout the movie.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's only hateable in that he is like such an obstacle at every turn, and like you said, he is there. Like I do like that team vibe, and the Colonel Whitaker's character does say this on the helicopter too. Like, this is why you're both here. Is their disagreement on if language
Yeah.
or math is the cornerstone, and this is why Agent Halbert is here. Is that he is someone who is looking for the threat in every corner he can. But he's also like the flaw of humanity, right?
Yes.
Which is that they're
Yeah.
always going to assume the worst and react as if the worst possible scenario is going to happen.
You got to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is just I guess what I'm saying is he's not just the necessary fuck this guy. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. He's not
like
evil for the sake
he's
of
a
evil.
nuanced
Yeah,
fuck this guy.
Yeah.
I would say he's probably an antagonist, though.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Yeah,
I do
no, he
think
is, for sure.
he is trying to protect humanity.
But this
and
is
you
not
need
like a
somebody
movie
that.
where I mean, he literally does have them at gunpoint at one point, but I feel like it makes sense when it happens.
Yeah, all
But
of it does.
I also love that the way Ian immediately shows his worth, right? When he
Yeah.
walks into that call with Australia, when we meet Halpern
Right.
and they're talking about the thing that you're talking about so you're saying that they could suffocate us. It's like, what, and he says recycling oxygen doesn't take 18 hours. He's like, atmosphere. Like, if their atmosphere is different than ours, they're making it habitable for us. That could take that much time.
I think that's what he responds to. So they
yeah,
could suffocate us because they're
mhm.
setting this condition up for us, right? Yeah. And we also get here that basically what the rest of the world has learned so far is nothing. They say
Yeah.
something along like they don't understand them at all, which is again just like hyping you up as the audience. Like,
Oh.
whoa, why is this so hard to figure out?
Yeah,
Like,
we have some Jeremy Renner narration, don't we? Which is like nobody knows why they picked these sites. The leading theory is because
Yeah, he
they're the
does a little
least common
voiceover
thing
later
of
on.
lightning strike.
yeah. That whole section's really good. I think I rewound that part because I was furiously
I
trying
love
to write.
the alarm.
Yeah.
And they're like,
15 minutes.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
And we know what it means. And then them suiting up and saying, there's actually like minimal radiation exposure. It's just like a precaution. And this is the part where she says, "Am I the only one having trouble saying the word
Mhm.
alien?" Which I love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just so good. I don't.
We've been thinking it the whole time, and that's probably the first time anyone said it in the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's also the last time.
No. It's not the first time.
It's not.
At one point in
Oh,
the
like the
helicopter
news,
says,
probably.
"Coffee with some aliens."
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're
Which
right.
is a good line. Which is his response to like, we should just have a conversation with them.
I'll
I
get
think
the
he's like,
yeah.
"Coffee with some aliens."
Yeah. What a
um,
silly little goober guy. Totally make a baby with that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. You make a cute baby too. And then we have the thing about how the suits are clumsy at first, and you can see that Louise is like,
Yeah, her
Not
performance
enjoying it,
here.
yeah.
I just looked it up a little bit ago, and she was not nominated for this performance, which I think is a travesty. She's so good in this.
and also as soon as she gets in the suit, all the sound is muted. And again,
Yeah.
placing that importance on like verbal communication, right?
Yeah.
And we got set and setting. We just heard somebody say some people can't handle experiences like this. And now
Yeah.
we're wondering, can she? And then I wrote down here, underlined, this is a question for you guys and also for the audience perhaps. What would you do in that situation? This is like the climax of First Contact. Aliens are here. You have the suit on. You're in the truck. You're about to go meet them in less than 10 minutes. How do you feel?
I'm sure I'm probably like Luis, where I feel like I'm gonna throw up, but also a little bit of Ian, where I'm like,
Laughing like
well, I-
hell the fuck yeah.
I don't know if I would be that lighthearted, but I would be like,
He's not like cackling though. He's like, like, wow.
He's happy.
yeah, he has this just like childlike wonder almost. I feel like I would have some of that, but it'd be like buried underneath my nausea.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd definitely be nervous.
I feel like, what's your read on why she's so nervous? Because to me, it's not because she's scared. Like, I feel like I don't read like they're going to kill me. Like,
I think it's just the
I think it's the
they
weight of like, we're not alone. They're here. And I'm going to come face to face with this. Like,
yeah. I mean, for me, it's just like running into a bear in the woods or something, where it's like it may or may not kill you, like even if you see it from far away, right? But it's just like the striking, like you are in a situation that is so outside of your normal circumstances and so out of control. She's just like panicking.
I
Yeah.
think there's also the weight of responsibility. And I may
Yeah.
be projecting a
Yeah.
bit, but
Yeah.
like she's hired here. She's like the only woman here. There's just a bunch of army dudes and science dudes that are talking about
There's some army
alien-
ladies.
Yeah, there's probably some army ladies. But there's a lot of expectations that are placed on her.
Yeah.
And they could send her home at any time.
Yeah, I mean, she replaced Dr. Walker too. They mentioned that earlier.
She
I-
asks, "Am I fired?" after
yeah,
whatever
after this,
happened the
yeah,
first
after
time.
this
Right.
scene. I think my read is of like the weight of like expectation and for her to like deliver in like a way. Because I feel like if you think about the way everything's set up, the fact that people have already been in and no one's been hurt. If it was me though, I know what I would be like. I would probably be like Donnelly. I would be stoked. I would be excited because I think like based on the circumstance and based on the way that I tend to think about things, like my thing would be like, look, man, I'm gonna try my best to like communicate with them, and me being part of this, that's amazing. It seems that they want to cooperate because if not, they wouldn't approach things this way. And if they really are gonna like wipe us out, like, I mean, if I go first, I go first. If I go last, I go last. Like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
That would probably be my thought. So I would just try to embrace like enjoying being this person to have this like once in a lifetime opportunity.
Hell yeah.
It's definitely the right attitude to have.
What about you, Eugene?
I'd be fucking dying, dude. I would be like her up to that point, probably cool, calm, collected. Like, I'm here to do a job. I'm exhausted. And then in that moment when I got that suit on and it's a little claustrophobic in there and nobody has told me that it's safe, nobody's given me any reassurance. They're just like, in you go to this fucking alien spacecraft. I don't know what to expect.
Minimal like there's like not they say that the suits are
Like,
just
it's people
precaution.
have been in there, people have gone out, and I kept thinking to myself, like, okay, well, what about the first guy? What was that like? Imagine you're part of the first team that's like, okay, it opened, in you go.
In you go. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but that's a different vibe, right? Like,
That is a different
thinking
vibe.
about being that person, that's like either I'm gonna like meet an alien, and then I'm gonna leave and we'll see what I can glean from it, or they're gonna like eat me, I guess.
Yep. Exactly.
I do take her fear as fear for her life, but not in a like direct kind of way. Like it reminds me of something like you're going skydiving and it's the moments before you're about to jump out of the plane and it's like everyone, like, the chances of you dying here are so small. You are still about to jump out of a fucking plane. Like, you are still about to encounter some force you cannot possibly imagine.
You know, I think I see that for sure. I think my read on it is like, will my brain be like, can I keep my sanity after being confronted with this almost? Like, am I mentally, like, do I have enough will? Do I understand myself well enough to like not let this make me go crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, or like I guess like a better example than the bear I used earlier is like an angel showing up in front of you. Like, oh, it's a
Be not
benevolent
afraid.
angel, but still, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
Like, you would
like
be
a
trembling, right?
mind-breaking
You'd be
experience.
terrified. Like,
I'd
what
say, hey,
is
what's
this,
up,
you know?
dude?
What's up,
You
bro?
want to smoke
So
a
you want a
fatty?
beer? You want a beer? You want to roll a more fati?
Amor fati.
So we got this great droning soundtrack as they approach the ship. A
The
lot
reverence,
of this.
dude. There's
Yeah.
like it feels almost like religious,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
religious sort of like droning
Yeah,
music,
yeah.
like almost like a chant. And the way they reach up and fucking touch it, oh my
Or
god,
Ian
dude.
does.
And
Yeah, he's loving it.
now he's
No,
giggling.
she touches it too.
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he
Oh.
like drags his hand across the whole thing, like as they're like going up to it. Which they really hold on that shot too of where his hand is dragging along it, and then when it meets the open air, and I was like, is that symbolic or it was just a cool shot? Like, I don't know, but looks great. And the lift they're using, what do you call that? It's like a cherry picker, but
Yeah,
like,
it's just like it's not even like an army thing. It's like
No,
just
it's
thing
a
that
cherry picker. That's what
That's
those are called.
facilities,
Yeah.
Okay.
what facilities have.
Or perhaps it's called like a pneumonic lifter upper.
that sounds right.
But I think it's a cherry picker.
The one thing I don't think I noticed this before was they have their phones attached to their arm, I believe.
Oh, the
and
way the screen starts
yeah,
flipping.
when
Yeah.
they're going up, you can see the gravity starting to change where the
Zippy zip.
phone can't tell
Oh,
which direction it's
interesting. Yeah.
supposed to be facing. And it's just spinning in circles, and I'm like, wow, that's a cool
Yeah, I
detail.
think it's like some sort of like interface or like communication thing, right? Like I don't think it's like his like he's got his like his iPhone strapped to his like arm.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why
That
it's
that
like
is interesting. It does make sense because when I saw that spinny thing, I was like, "Oh, this is so silly." There's like radio frequencies scrambling this iPhone, and they're representing this by making it spin.
No, yeah,
no,
it's-
it's because of the gravity.
Yeah,
It's like the auto rotate like feature.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm taking my iPad and waving it around in front of them like all
Giving
of
a
y'all
great
can
demonstration,
hear
you
it
guys.
right
You're
now.
really
Can see
missing
it right
out.
now. You guys hear me? You see?
oh,
the-
look at it spin. Look at it
it's
go.
Wow.
rotating. I'm not
Flip
even doing it long enough for it to change orientation.
And he's not even facing the screen at us.
And then
No, because they couldn't
gravity.
understand. I take all my notes in a language that exists independent of time.
It's true.
and then can I say we have the greatest line delivered
Oh,
in this entire
this
movie.
super cheesy Marvel line.
That just happened.
Yeah, dude. That was one of those moments like where I was thinking about when you said like this movie has no flaws, or it's a perfect movie. where I'm like,
Millennial bullshit.
and I don't know how much of that is like this line has become a meme because it's used
Yes,
in trailers so
yes.
often and stuff. So I don't know if it's just
Well,
like
I
I
modern.
feel like
No,
in
it's the-
2016 it was very hip.
Yeah, it's the thing that millennials say. Like it's It's not just like a trailer thing. It's like, well, that just happened, and like, oh, so random, like they're
Yep.
they're all like these cultural sort of things.
I feel like I've just seen
From 10 years ago.
like parodies making fun of movie trailers where it's like they're trying to be like Marvel, like a cool chatty guy, and it's like, well, that just happened, and it's
Yep.
like I definitely like had a little bit of an eye roll during that
But
moment.
the way they say it feels very like elder millennial like moment, like
Yeah.
for sure.
It's
Yeah,
like a,
yeah.
Well, because you have to think about this. Like sometimes like reality would be it usually is more absurd. Imagine, the scientists go down there. There's like this young army kid. It's like, wow, that gravity change was bust down. No cap. Like people are going to say shit like that,
Right. Well, I thought his reaction when he makes the jump was much more of a natural sounding reaction where he turns around and he's just like, holy fuck. Like that seems like something someone would say, and maybe they would say, just trying to break the tension. Yeah, that just happened.
I
That was the fuck
absolutely
in the
can picture
movie,
someone
right?
say, "This is a college
the one fuck.
professor,"
True. What was that?
that was the one fuck in the movie.
Is it? I'm not sure.
I think so.
I'm not sure because
It's
this is
PG-13.
PG-13. That's a good point.
That was the one fuck.
Oh, we got it. Yeah, the
Sorry
glow
for
stick
interrupting.
too. No, you're good. The glow stick.
No, that's important.
What a perfect representation for the audience of what is happening
Yeah.
here. Just throwing it up and watching it drop sideways, like
So cool.
in a way defying physics. Just you immediately understand what's happening, and it just blows your mind. And it's an amazing visual. It's just like such a simple trick that is so effective.
So fucking cool. I love the gravity shit. I love how they're like, yes, you are now in an alien spacecraft. Nothing makes sense, but it makes perfect sense. You just jump and the gravity's different, and now you're in a hallway.
Yeah. And I think Amy Adams' performance here, just the way she's is starting to hyperventilate more and more, like she's just having a hard time catching her breath, and they're like, "Oh, are you ready?" And she's like, I don't know," and then he just kind of picks her up and then
Yoink.
jumps with her.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
yeah.
And he perfectly delivers her, and then Ian, of course, jumps off and
falls.
fucks off.
I thought he was gonna fall. I thought he was gonna stumble backwards and fall back down.
I laughed at that scene. Yeah.
All gravities hate this one simple trick, where you throw a glow stick and suddenly it's changed.
Well, that just happened.
Well, that just happened.
We are so random.
Just so random.
Yeah, I think the most striking shot for me in this whole sequence is that scene where Ian turns around and he's just like, holy fuck, and he's
Yeah.
just looking at the cherry
the
picker
ground.
in the ground beneath him. It is just such a cool
There's
I don't
lots
know
of
he's
how
a
they did
physicist.
that exactly. I don't know if it's like a rear view projection or whatever, or however you would show the.
you could do that using a composite shot, so two different shots that you stitch together.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but it looks so good. It looks so good.
Fuck, man. Yeah. There's so many great visual metaphors for being thrown into the unknown in this movie.
Yeah.
So many. There's so much about darkness and illumination servicing this idea of how little and how much we know. And I love how I was going to say it because you said it earlier, she's basking in the glow of the room when she finally goes in later on. And well, I'll save the thought for when we talk about it. All right, cut that out.
But the screen, the window, and so they're walking down the hall, and there's that glass,
Yeah.
and it's so bright and white.
Yeah.
All the knowledge is in there. That is where all the
Yeah.
light is. And it reminded me of the shot in her house where there's that big window looking out into the world, and it was so dark.
Yeah.
I don't know what the parallel there is, but
Okay, I'll
both
say-
are big rectangle screens.
I'll say the thing I was gonna say. So the bright light so you're in the darkness without the knowledge, but then you are blinded by the light because you are so overwhelmed by the knowledge without the tool to interpret it. Was my feeling of what that room is. That's why it's so misty, because
Right.
it is even if you could see everything for what it was, you need the codex, you need the key, right, to decipher it.
Right, totally. Yeah, the fog serves as
The weapon.
such a good, it's so good visually, but also it just, perfect metaphor for every part of this interaction is layered behind a layer of fog.
Yeah.
And also, I love just a super smart small detail, just to really keep this emphasis on how foreign and strange the situation is when they first walk into the room, the camera is just showing them walking in on the ceiling, just to
Yes.
show you how
The
disorienting
upside down shot
this
is so good.
And then it doesn't do that again, but I just thought that was like a great little detail, to
Yeah.
add in.
It's such a great little visual commentary on perspective.
Yeah. The whole thing with the canary in the cage, great little setup. It's kind of a. I think I wrote at one point, not now. I wrote a red canary for like a red herring, because the canary really is setting up this feeling like, oh, at some point that canary is gonna like die or
I
something,
see,
like
yeah.
something bad's gonna, like, that's gonna be an important detail. Not really.
It was important in the sense that she later started hallucinating the canary sounds when she started losing track of time.
Right.
But it never died.
Yeah, I think it's just
Maybe in the bomb, but
it's
never
just
died.
a device to add tension. And
Yep.
even when she's
And
like,
annoyance.
when she's just like starting to get more involved, the chirping is like the loudest thing in the scene, right? And it's just like adding this extra level of tension to everything happening. So it's like a very smart choice that doesn't do what you would expect, I guess.
When you're talking about the like frequency sort of like spectrum or whatever, also having those high pitched, very like earth sounds to us, contrasted with the guttural
Yeah.
alien low
Yeah.
like rumble.
Oh yeah.
Great job on the alien language in this. Great job on the design. They are, look, I'll say it because it's the last episode of the fucking month. This is the most alien looking alien to me. I love that it is like it. I mean, Klaatu, that's an easy beat, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking the alien from Alien.
The xenomorph, yeah.
That one's pretty freaky.
Yeah.
ET's kind of cute, but this is just like
It's hard to fathom what
They
this
don't have,
is,
like,
yeah.
eyes or a mouth.
I've
you know?
seen this movie multiple times. I still don't really know what's going on with this thing.
I love it.
Yeah, me
They're
too.
cool.
They're
And
super cool.
7, that's such an odd number. Like,
Yeah.
animals always have like, is
Fibonacci.
one of them technically a
Wait,
tail?
no.
Like,
Yeah.
It's not Fibonacci.
Big
Right?
old alien
No.
dick.
It's 7.
No, but it's a prime number,
Yeah.
which is something that they recognize. They recognize prime numbers.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We do see their full form later, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Whatever your catchphrase is. Clearly look like big hands. I think that's very important because hands can't talk, hands can't make sounds,
Hmm.
but you can do sign language, for instance, with your hands, or you can write with your hands.
That's a good point. Didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good little thing. I do love the way this scene ends and transitions into the next one, where he says, "Dr. Banks, you can start."
And then it
Cut
just
to
cuts.
yeah, them taking off their suits, and she's like, "Am I fired?" I also love, we're talking about Donnelly looking like a pig in shit with his like fucking shit eating grin. He like has this wild like crazy look in his
Yeah,
eyes after he
I
takes it
love
off,
this.
and he seems so excited, but then he's the one who turns and goes and pukes.
Yes, I that's when I was
Mm.
like, okay, I really do like this character, because he's not just the comedic relief, like he's also just like a dude, right? I thought that was really good.
Again, this is another one of those sort of like palate cleansers, and we're also getting information across. Am I fired? You're better than the guy you replaced. The rhythm to it is really nice, the way it's delivered. I love how it's like a quicker dialogue scene after this long, drawn out sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
And I love the way that then it's also just setting up the rhythm of everything, where it's like you have until 0200 to figure out, like, try and translate something. Then what happens then? You go back in.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's
And
fun
it
setup.
totally makes sense,
It's like,
right?
this is what the movie is now.
There would be no downtime in this situation.
Yeah,
like
they're
this.
no nonsense. You can't take a break.
Yeah, I mean,
Every 18 hours is good enough. We got to maximize our potential.
And I think after this is going to be, we have some shots of Louise going over the recordings, but then we have our first big show of how everyone is freaking out.
Yeah,
There's
the
looting
looting on
and
the
violence
news.
going on, like, around the country,
they're
around
talking
the
about
world.
this is like a like, I forget which country was talking about this as like a prophecy being fulfilled or
No,
something.
it's
It
a
was a
group. It's a
cult.
church. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
church.
North
and
Dakota.
They burnt down their church. And, like, they all, like, did a mass suicide, basically.
Oh, geez,
Oh.
I didn't catch that part. That's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of riots and countries and things like that, I think I heard somewhere that every time there's a depiction of the U.S. Army or armed forces in the movie, there's basically a consultant that they have to work with to do an accurate portrayal of it. And so I made a note here about propaganda and who were portrayed as the or evil or violent countries.
Yeah.
Russia and China.
Obviously, Russia and China, but then we also had some Venezuela. We also had Sudan following Russia and China.
Was it Pakistan and Iran, perhaps, as well?
I
I
don't
think Iran is mentioned negatively.
It
or
could
as, like, an
be,
aggressor.
Actually, I think Iran is the one who solves a big.
It's Pakistan
Oh, it's Pakistan.
Pakistan.
that
yeah,
realizes
yeah.
that they don't experience time the same way.
Right.
Yep. And so,
Which I appreciated, right? Like,
And so Venezuela, I didn't look this up, but this came out in 2016, and I'm wondering if that's when all the anti-Venezuela things were happening in the US.
The U.S. government has been anti-Venezuela for fucking like decades at this point. You know?
Yeah. To be fair, I think that they kind of show all the governments in a bad light to an extent. Like the ones they focus on
Yeah.
are the big three: the U.S., Russia, and China. But they all kind of fuck up. Like
Yeah.
nobody's really doing this well
it's
except
game theory.
banks.
Yep. Oh, and there was also, of course, the mention of Australia
Yep.
and the kangaroos and the Aborigines, but I guess we'll get to that.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Fake
because
story.
this is
Fake story.
cutting around a lot, right? She's writing human on the whiteboard. Oh no, this is actually that scene. Yeah. So she, you have the chirping canary. This is where I wrote red canary. Oh, I love the way that the sound, like what would you call that? The receiver. When they show up and it just like maxes out through the
Mhm.
lowest frequency
Oh
coming
yeah,
through.
no, it's like this like a sensor like
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's like a decibel. It's some sort of sound wave or some sort of sonic.
Yeah, I just thought that
measurement
was
it's
such a
taking.
cool visual way to show just what we can't hear through the speakers. It's too deep for like to show you in any other way than that meter. I thought that was awesome.
I also wondered, how do they even make sound? They don't. I don't think they have a mouth.
Well, they got all those holes in their little weird squid hands.
You also never see if
Oh.
they have a mouth.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true. It's too
they never
foggy in
lift
there.
up all their legs and show you their underside.
Yeah.
or
Right, because
anything.
that's where squids have their mouth, right?
Yeah, and it's like this rumbling
Yeah.
sound. So, and also it almost seemed like sometimes when she goes in and she sees the top of it, almost like the rumbling is coming from the top of the head.
It does look more humanoid in that later scene, where it
Mm.
looks like a kind of guy with a head wearing a cloak with 7 little fingers on his
I
feet.
did see that, I
No.
guess.
You didn't see the head and like the shoulders and stuff, head and shoulders.
I mean, I
Uh,
saw a lump on the top of its head.
I mean, they
Like,
just
it's
look
got
like
a long head.
they just look like really weird elongated squids to me.
It does
But
give
come on, the texture of the
octopus
skin is
and
also weird as
starfish
fuck. Yeah.
vibe,
Yeah.
and very fingers. They have like the little knuckle lines that we have, you know.
Yeah, I guess another one of my very small critiques. I remember when this came out, I just thought it was like visually impeccable. I do think the CGI for the aliens has aged. Like it does look like CGI to me.
I think that one of the
Interesting.
smartest plays in this movie is putting the CGI creatures behind a glass.
Yeah.
Like I think it helps it a lot. And there's a part where she is floating in it where it looks a little
Yes,
it doesn't
I
look
agree.
it doesn't look great. But
They always stood out to me as like a little digital looking.
I think again behind the screen, taking into account the different atmosphere, to me it adds to the alien look of them. Especially when they're in the mist and they're kind of like those wider shots.
Yeah.
The closer shots where they show maybe closer up, it does feel a little bit more of that colder digital like color palette. But yeah, and then the action shots of like the ink, I think the like big wide shots and the action shots of the ink, I think are like some of the strongest.
Yeah, I think the
like,
ink looks
parts.
great. Yeah, visually. Yeah, it's more. It was almost like the resolution of the way they looked, like contrasted the environment around them a little bit in a way I noticed. I just think that if they could have done it with a puppet, it
Oh,
would have
dude,
been
did you
a lot better.
you didn't load it? You forgot to load the.
Oh, I didn't turn on.
Yeah, you didn't
the...
finish buffering.
You gotta load. You gotta load the shaders for the heptapods.
No, I had
Yeah, get
left
a better
it on
graphics card, Connor.
440p or whatever. Yeah.
And then like you said, with the whiteboard, I love the way that the idea kind of comes up. That she's like sitting there suiting up, she sees it, and then she's walking out with it, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she's like, "We need a visual aid."
Yeah.
And yeah, because they might have some sort of written language. And as you were saying, we get her at first. It's the human, right? And they they see that it produces a symbol, and this is like the first breakthrough.
Yeah.
This is sort of like the eureka moment.
Yeah. Which, okay, so this is something I was really like lost in thought about a few times throughout the movie, which is so much of the movie is about them thinking they're teaching the aliens the language. They're teaching them English, right? But we know that these aliens exist outside of time, so they must already be aware of the language. And it's actually the main hurdle of the movie is them just trying to communicate with us, which I think is so interesting.
Yes, we are learning their language. That is why they're here.
But they can already understand us, presumably,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
well, maybe they can't, in the same way that she can't necessarily understand everything just because it happened in the future. They probably can't see absolutely everything that's about to happen.
Yeah, I was getting just like super lost in the lore on this one because I do think I don't see any contradictions necessarily. I just think it plays around with this idea a lot where like, jumping ahead a bit where she's at the banquet later, and she doesn't remember this phone call that she had with him. It's her from the past in that moment. So
I think it is also sort of because it is disorienting to experience time in that way.
right, but what's so interesting about the banquet moment is this is after she's already like written a book about it, presumably. Like she's very well versed in it, and yet it's almost like her previous self interrupts
Is
her
it after
future
the book?
self.
I don't know if it's
Yes.
after the book. It's
Well,
18 months after everything that has happened.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I like how you put it that in a linear model, her previous self interrupts that future self. Because that's not necessarily the order it happened, even though it happened in the future in the way that we understand it.
Yes.
Like you are borrowing from the future. You're not necessarily experiencing it again when it happens.
Right, which is just a very trippy concept because it's
It's
not
such an
like
alien way of experiencing time.
right, because it's not just that you're experiencing all of time at once, it's that like moments of yourself are experiencing moments of time
Yes.
because
Exactly.
someone from your past your past self could be experiencing this moment instead of your present self.
Which,
Yeah, but they're all the same self. I feel like she's like Dr. Manhattan, and that she doesn't know how to like she doesn't know how to fully interpret it. It seems like she gets better and better at it.
So
Right?
interesting, yeah.
Like
We-
it seems like this sort of like skill that she needs to exercise
yeah.
to like hone in on things.
yeah.
yeah,
And
I love the way I do like again the way that it is acted, where it is like, because there is something to what you're saying, absolutely, where it's like it's Louise of that the way she acts is like Louise of that moment.
Well, she's like, I called you, didn't I? Is
Yeah.
what she says to him. So she literally doesn't remember that moment. It's her inferring from her present self looking into
I think
the
that's
future.
one. I think it is maybe that
Yep.
it like there is like this disorienting skip, and then some, because it feels like, for example, when she skips into a moment with Hannah, it's like she needs to take a second to remember what she knows at that moment. Like, do you remember? Because she asked her, "Do you
Yeah.
know what day it is,
Yeah.
honey?" And
Mhm.
she's like, "Sunday." And then they're talking a little bit, and then like she knows, like, "Oh, your daddy's coming this," and she like it's like I think it is like these skips that feel like so jarring, but then once like she gives herself a couple, like once she has a moment to sort of like breathe and get like her footing, then she like starts to realize stuff.
and then she's in that moment.
It blows my mind because it's her. Yeah, is it Dr. Manhattan experiencing all life at one moment, or are you present in yourself at every moment? It's just you can remember all of the future and the past of your life. Very trippy to think about.
I think that the movie doesn't make that clear on purpose because
Yeah.
it's you can't explain that.
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
know there's no answer. I'm just curious on your thoughts on this because it's such a trippy concept.
I do want to say that the first symbol that they make, and this is good that we're talking about this, about where's the beginning and the end and where's the
Looks
future.
like an Ouroboros.
It looks like an Ouroboros, baby. You know, I love that shit. It looks like, because it's the most circular, I think, of all the symbols they make, and it just has one lump.
They're all pretty circular.
Well, yeah, but it
They all
has...
kind of look like different Ouroboroses.
Okay.
Okay, you're right.
Speaking of sound design and great composition, I couldn't quite figure out what the instrument was here. It almost sounded like voices going through a synthesizer and then being looped. But I was almost certain there was like a looping happening in the music during this scene where they're showing the language for the first time, which is just like so many layers of
Yeah. The movie should just be
perfection.
called Circles.
Circles, a perfect circle.
circle.
I
of
also like
life.
how we immediately have that Weber is dubious of the approach. Again, he's doing this thing where he's like pushing her, like, and he's like teaching them to write and like teaching them to read and to understand like spoken and written language. That's gonna take way longer. And she's like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, the kangaroo story. So
you're
good.
wrong. It's faster.
Yeah, she's right. I love this isn't
Love a
when she
whiteboard.
breaks down the sentence, is it? Is
Yes.
it? Oh, dude,
Maybe.
This is the scene I rewinded the most on Cinema Forecast so far, where I was just like looking at like what she was underlining and like the way she breaks down the sentence in order to understand the easiest way to communicate with a
Mhm.
creature that we have no Rosetta Stone for. So
yeah,
cool.
it's like the scene after this. Like so she tells the kangaroo story.
Yes.
And then they're trying to figure out the symbols. And this is where they mention that the aliens don't understand algebra. They introduce General Shang, and they call him his call sign is Big Domino, because whatever he
didn't notice.
yeah
that.
whatever he does, like 4 other
Oh, they said that.
countries will act in
Yep.
the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whiteboard work is great. We love it already. This is our second awesome whiteboard moment / blackboard moment. I'll lump them together with The Day the Earth Stood Still with Dr. Barnhart. Another pig and shit, speaking of pigs and shit. But I love the way Ian is like, no, not the top part, right? But she
Yeah.
just does not give a
Mhm.
fuck.
Yeah.
And yeah, when she writes down the sentence, and I love this part because it's a great way of like helping people understand like how many things you take for granted.
Yeah.
And I think like look, both Eugene and I are bilingual. I speak Spanish, and which is very closely related to English in some ways, especially when you think syntactically. But there are differences, right? So it is funny when you talk to people who are monolingual and you do like notice that, especially when they're trying to learn Spanish and they're like, oh, well, how do you say this? And you're like, okay, well, this is how you say it. And they're like, is there not just a one word translation? It's like, no, because it's not one for one. Like there's
Words have
different
feelings.
modalities of
Yeah, well,
like-
you have all the conjugations and the tenses are like changes the language so much compared to English too.
yeah, and then there's things about English that are super super complex
Oh, yeah.
as well that are very difficult.
I don't remember who said it, but I heard a quote that's like, you can't understand your own language unless you learn another, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things you don't know that you don't know about
know-
language until you learn a language. And that's probably true of learning, 20 different languages.
I was about to say that reminds me a lot of programming, where the first language you learn is so weird and alien, and then you learn the second one, you're like, what? It's completely different. And then
Mhm.
you learn the third one and the fourth
and
one.
then you start seeing the patterns.
And now, they don't even care. Like, if you're a seasoned programmer, they don't care whether or not you know the language, because it's like,
Because you can figure it out.
yeah, you know what the languages do, and you can look up what you need to do with that language, right?
I studied some Russian, and actually I feel like when I think about sentence construction, like Russian and Spanish feel much more similar than like English.
Yes,
Like,
Russian
Interesting.
is, by the way, that's what I speak. Russian
could see
and Spanish also have the same thing where it may sound weird, but it makes grammatical sense to like put the words of the sentence in any order.
That's cool.
Maybe not so much Spanish.
And it's not, okay.
Maybe not
Maybe
so
I'm
much
thinking,
Spanish.
okay, maybe
Because
not.
Spanish is usually well, you have like subject implication in both languages with the conjugation sometimes, but I think it tends to be subject verb object for sure. But no, you're right. No,
You
there
can,
there are ways of reconstructing things where you can do slightly different things. But man, I wish we had a linguist right now.
call your dad.
Yeah, get your dad on
I was
speakerphone.
thinking about calling my dad for like a part of it, and that would be fucking funny.
I'd like to
but-
phone a friend.
Dude,
no,
you
he's
could,
in Peru right now.
you could insert like a piece of him, like his thoughts on. some of
Don't
these-
insert.
on the
Please keep your dad in one piece. Connor's a madman.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's good. I love this scene. It's
Yeah.
awesome that how
What is
she
your
breaks
purpose
down.
on Earth?
Yeah, what is your
the
purpose on Earth?
question.
It is a
And he's like, yeah,
complicated question.
that's what I want to know. And she's like, okay, so we have to make the distinction between collective and individual your.
We must understand what they have to understand what a question is, and
Yeah.
and not just any Joe alien asking this question. She says, which is
Joe
such
alien,
a which
yeah.
is such
Well,
a
that's
fun
what
one.
because that's the thing about your is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
knowing a collective, like referring to them collectively,
Man.
collective possessive, not just like
Forrest
of that one
Whitaker.
person.
Forrest Whitaker is so good at being a no nonsense guy. All he says, first he gives her a hard time for like, why can't you ask this question? Then she explains it. All he says is, I understand.
Yeah, I love that. I love that line.
Yeah.
I understand. Then boom, cut to like her hand still shaking.
Mm-hmm.
They're going back, she's she's back in there trying to teach her name. And this is the moment where we have her strip the hazmat suit off. No,
She
they
looks at the
need to
canary.
see it.
I guess
Yeah.
this is the moment that the canary plays a moment in the plot where she looks at the canary to see, hey, the canary's been fine this whole time. And I think that's the last time we really focus on the canary.
From the beginning of the movie, after the Hannah part, all the way until they meet the aliens, it's pretty chronological. Of course, there's time skips, but it's pretty chronological. It's easy to follow. After they meet the aliens the first time, it starts skipping in weird ways, right? They meet the aliens, then suddenly she's taking off her suit saying, am I fired? Then they're talking about it. Suddenly, it's 18 hours later, we got to go back in. And then the shots of the room are always the same. So you don't know which time this is. You just know they're back in the room. And you don't know which time this is. You just know they're back
Well,
at the
we
office.
do get the thing eventually. What are we calling this? Session 37? No, Session 36 Part 2.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
like that.
Yeah, what podcast episode is this?
This is going to be episode 25.
Part 2.
Part
one.
2.
Part 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we get everyone not wanting her to take off the suit, hands on the glass. She says, now that's a proper introduction.
Because they like shook hands.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
basically, and
It was kind of cute.
yeah,
And is that when she starts freaking out a little bit and like experiencing time
yes,
memories?
she starts getting a vision of her daughter.
Yes.
So that's why I was saying, like, it's more than just Save Your Wharf, where learning it changes you.
Yes,
Like, there's some interaction that
I agree
happens
with
here.
you. And eventually she like breathes in their gas and shit, and that's how she obtains the weapon.
Yeah. So there is some weird sci-fi stuff, and I love how understated it is.
Yeah, for sure. I do think it's like there's this part where like there's multiple aspects to it where like you do have to learn the language
Yeah.
because that's how you can sort of master it
Yeah.
or like control it, because otherwise maybe you're just exposed to this like chemical that's maybe this compound that's like in their like atmosphere that makes it so that they like experience time in this way.
Yeah.
And like if you just do it without any understanding of the language, you'll just be kind of lost, untethered to like being thrown around different moments of your life, which is an insanely kind of fun idea for like a movie.
Yeah.
It would to just be like darting around like your life uncontrollably.
Yeah,
Kind of feels like Enter the Void a little
You
bit.
never know which moment in your life you're gonna be. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Which is kind of I have this
Sounds like a nightmare.
I have this idea. I was telling Eugene about it before. I think I want to call it like anyway. It doesn't matter. It's about people who could become like unstuck in time, but like it's this idea for like a graphic novel I'd like to do one day.
Yeah, we've definitely talked about this before. Yeah, you were talking about with Juan like way back in the day, I think.
Yeah,
At the
it was
Northgate House.
it was because well, you know what? In my youth, I was a guy who liked to try to do a lot of fun stuff. I liked
Oh yeah.
experimenting with psychedelics, and I smoked salvia this one time, and I felt like I fell out of the couch into like out of the constraints of like the fourth dimension into this like crazy roller coaster where I was like riding around and like could peer into like different sort of like times of my life and
Mhm.
lifetimes to like jump into.
I love that.
So I love this shit.
Oh yeah, me
I
too.
love this shit
I love
too.
time
I
shit.
also like the shit like dimensional stuff. One of the reasons I loved, spoiler alert, I don't think it's a huge it's pretty old, Assassin's Creed 2. There's some really cool stuff about like their conception of gods,
Right.
and that shit I thought was sick as fuck. I love that shit. I love this shit.
Yeah,
I love this shit so much.
I love.
I love this shit
this
so
I
much
get
too.
so
shit.
excited about and just asking the stupid questions and like staring at each other with like Whoa.
Whoa, dude.
Time.
Oh, you ever think about like,
Well, it's just that this movie's doing so much, dude. Like the interpersonal, emotional, human drama,
Yes.
the what is society, what is humanity, what is with all this cool lore, trippy time stuff that makes you just like contemplate the nature of existence in your own like five senses and what it means to be alive. Like it's amazing.
and it does it so well, and it weaves it all together. If I may, I think, and feel free to add more, I think there are three main stories in this movie. One
Alright.
story is about aliens. Oh my god, first contact.
Yeah.
They're fucking here. What do we do? What do they want? We need to figure this out. They have crazy gravity technology. There's trippy time shit going on. Story number 2 is about humans. We're cooperating. We're working together. We're mistrusting each other. There's suspicions and fear. There's shit that's going down. Oh my God, what does this say about humanity as a whole? Can we work together? Are we doomed to, ruin this opportunity? Story number 3 is about amor fati. It is about specifically Louise and Hannah. It is about knowing your destiny and embracing it, loving your fate.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were talking about it a little bit when we were getting dinner, but I was talking about how I love focus stories so much, but when a movie is, and we love to talk about these movies that are X number of movies. Like I love saying shit like there's 3 movies in this movie, there's 7 movies in this movie,
Right.
Mhm.
and I think Eugene is right. There are 3 movies in this movie, but like one of the things about this is that it is. And I didn't say it earlier, but it is actually a very focused story.
Yeah.
Now that we're going over it
Yeah.
step by step, the way it's presented, there's a tautness to it.
Yeah.
And that the way that the other stories are interwoven is just the
It's-
layering of meaning and the playing of like with time.
Yeah.
And like that shit's just fucking amazing. Like such evocative art. Like it is,
Yeah.
is
Oh,
what I
yeah.
feel when I'm watching this.
So
you know?
like there's so much, subtle, not even I guess that, like I said, one of my critiques is that it's kind of heavy-handed sometimes, but like so much commentary on society, breakdown and what we do, that's just part of the narrative, and it adds to
Mhm.
the tension the whole time as well. Like, everything that goes down with these soldiers, totally believable, totally this other story about
Oh, yeah.
humanity woven into this story, not necessary for the main story it's trying to tell, but important to.
Yeah, that's almost like the 4th movie in this one.
There's so much. It's awesome, and just
There's
like
a lot.
the linguistic aspect of it, like we've been
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
fucking love that
I mean, there's
shit.
just like
I
it has
fucking
so
love
much
that
to
shit.
say about language. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love a sci-fi movie about language. It's just like hard not to be in love with that. Like
Just love
communication
language
is so like what we're literally doing here
Yeah.
is like just talking into fucking microphones, like
Oh yeah.
like couldn't do this without language, dude. It's
No.
like a key factor to podcasting. That's why we love it so
This is
much.
a meta movie.
They Ian introduced himself as well. He strips off all of his shit. They name them Abbott and Costello because they
Yeah.
show them the symbols and they're like, okay, but what are we gonna call them?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. And
Good
he
names,
says-
good
yeah.
names.
Abbott and
I was thinking
Costello.
Abbott and Costello.
I tried to do some research on Abbott and Costello to see if I can figure out any kind of metaphor about why they're called that. I don't think so.
I think it's just funny.
I think it's just funny.
And it's a good call.
And Marx looks pissed, and then we see we see her get really like struck by this moment with like her of seeing her future daughter,
Yep.
and then we get the like, how do you feel? Overworked.
Mhm.
They tell her there's no signs of radiation poisoning. Okay, and I have this thought that I have to share with y'all
Yeah.
because I love thinking about Dr. Manhattan. But she says later on, she's like, it all has to do with like a very rare disease, right?
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that when she strips this off, like she
She's
exposed herself to
some shit.
something, or maybe later on?
Oh my
That, like-
god, I never
Yeah.
even considered that. There's totally a chance.
Yeah, dude. So like really like taking your life into your
Whoa.
hands in this like way, right? And again with the amor fati stuff, it is really just sort of like very tragic, but it's almost like she's doing like the Abraham Isaac, like giving up her firstborn to like to show. Yeah, like I don't know, man. It's it's kind of fucked, but also like,
It's very interesting.
yeah.
I
I don't think it's central to it. I don't think it's necessarily implied either.
yeah, no, it's just it's an interesting read.
Thanks, dude. Is that what I'm here for? That's what I'm here for.
That's
The
why we're here.
interesting, the king of interesting reads.
What were you gonna say?
No,
Something?
no, I'm the
I
mayor
was
of
gonna,
interesting
the
reads.
mayor, the king of context,
The Prince of Consent.
and
Yeah.
and the mayor of interesting reads.
Yeah.
And
I
the
am
most
the-
interesting girl in the world.
And I am the comptroller of silliness.
Oh, good, good, good.
Now I forgot what I was gonna say, but it was really, really good.
Here,
It
we'll
was
just
something-
react.
Oh no,
I
yeah,
had
it
one
is
too,
really, really
actually.
good actually. So, determinism versus free will.
Yeah.
Does she even have a choice to have her daughter, or is she just going to have her daughter no matter what?
I view it as both.
I think we should save this for the end.
Yeah, I
think this
so, too.
discussion is better served for the end because of she says certain things and she even asks Ian a question. So
Yeah.
Yep, she does.
Yeah. No, it's so good. We get a very sus shot of the soldiers here, looking ready to soldier. is
well,
what
be,
I
Oh,
wrote.
yeah.
I think we also get
The learning montage. I love the learning
Well,
montage.
yeah. Well, I was
after
gonna say
this.
Marx is on the phone with his wife,
Yes,
and that's a really dude. And
that's
he
what I was
says,
talking about.
Becky is asking if the monsters are going to kill Daddy, and it's like fuck. And you can see he's like, it's not gonna happen. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry. And he's really trying to keep his cool. Fuck, man, this is like such a tragic part of this fucking
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
and it is just almost in the background.
yeah.
It's wild, dude.
I think this is the first shot focusing on a character other than Louise. I want to say.
Well, I mean, there's been shots of other characters, but you mean
Like,
like a
she's-
scene.
she's not
It's
in
like
the scene
yeah,
at
that's,
all.
That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
someone else's scene for the first
Yeah.
time. You might be right there. Yeah.
Where my first thought was like, who the hell is this guy? Why do I care? And
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, yeah, it's tragic. You know, it's showing this perspective. He can't tell his wife anything. It's all super confidential. And then, we get back in it, but it becomes relevant later on when
Yeah.
the thing happens.
Yeah, and we do have the whole montage narrated by Ian, but right before
Yes.
that, we have Louise analyzing the written language, and there's this really awesome thing of her like she's like drawing with like the pen scratch, and every moment she further understands the language, you see her mind and her perception of time are being warped. I love the way it's shot.
I
Mhm.
think this is also the moment
Oh.
she's writing and the sound just cuts out completely, and
And I
it's-
think you just hear the of like the pen
Mhm.
scratch.
and then it's a vision of her daughter again, and it's such
Mhm.
a fucking striking way to do
And
that.
it's happening now.
Yeah,
It's like clearly a
so
memory
good.
or a memory of the future, but it feels like it's happening
What
right
I
now.
love
Yeah.
too is like your first time watching it though, you're like, damn, like
This is her memories.
she's being
right.
assaulted by her memories, and they
Yeah.
are her, but they still are her
Right,
memories. You know,
right.
like
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't even been talking about this from the first time viewer perspective since the beginning, but yes, that is the beautiful thing about this movie. Is
the whole
that
time
it's
you're like,
so,
she's traumatized.
because it's such a good way to build empathy for this character. I mean, again, a little heavy-handed, but like it's so effective.
Yeah.
But then you realize, oh no, this is a completely different context to what's actually happening.
Yeah,
But
I do
is it,
love
though?
because of the cyclical nature though and everything, and the way that time is perceived. I love the idea that it's like it doesn't matter that it hasn't happened yet. Like she is traumatized at the
Yeah.
beginning,
Mhm.
you know, like even watching it, knowing how the timeline works, I'm like, poor girl, she's like so traumatized.
Yeah.
But then again, also still having the thought of like, this is like a Rorschach test in a way.
I think this is in that scene where she hallucinates one of the aliens in the room with her and it like roars.
No, I think that's a little bit later.
Yeah. I think it's after the montage. I also just noted how good her acting was during this scene after we have that sound cut out vision of daughter. Like she's showing confusion, fear, excitement,
Yes,
sadness.
she
Like it's all
rides-
there.
she rides the line of curiosity and being terrified so well throughout this whole
And
movie.
it's always
yeah.
so like understated
Yes,
in such a good way.
it's like so like bubbling under the surface.
yeah, it's a really, really good
She's great.
performance. Yeah.
She's great, dude. Fucking Amy Adams glaze up, dude. God, She's fucking
Killed
amazing.
it.
Loving
Killed it.
Adams.
She's so good, and like she just makes me want to like cry.
She did make me cry a couple
She
times.
made
in
me
this
cry
movie.
so
she
many
makes me
times.
cry. Yeah, for sure.
I cried so much.
The
in
first
this
one
movie.
was 3 minutes and 50 seconds in.
This is the first Cinema Forecast movie that I cried watching. I've teared up multiple times, but this is the first time where tears down cheek, like
Damn.
multiple tears, yeah.
This
That's
at
is-
the end.
impressive.
I
At the
don't-
end.
Impressive.
I don't know what number this is for me. Maybe like
26.
5 or
And I love that
something?
about you. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Finding Nemo for sure. I mean, Searching for Bobby Fischer for sure. This one there was a lot. Dude, honestly, there was a lot. There was some stuff in Dune as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I've teared up a couple times, and that's
it's-
like almost a cry.
It's also my first one, but I have 100% cry rate. so far.
Hell yeah, brothers!
I was,
Just a bunch of men that cry watching
I
good
was,
movies.
dude, I was ugly crying, and after I finished watching the movie, I was like, I went and like took a shower, and I was like, beforehand, I was like sitting there like, kind of like weeping more,
Mm.
just like feeling kind of emotionally exhausted, honestly.
I was feeling emotionally exhausted trying to write these notes while I was basically ugly crying.
Yeah, I
It
couldn't.
was
I couldn't
so
do it.
powerful, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
I mean, we are there, dude.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
I'm
Is
crying
talking
right
about
now.
this movie out of order kind of works in a way.
But
Ian's
this,
you
voiceover-
can't
but
talk
no,
about this
I'm
movie
already,
out of
I'm
order.
Already, I'm already crying on I'm already like when we're starting to get some of these flashbacks. Pretty much anytime I see the daughter, I like start tearing up or go full ugly cry.
I noted every time I teared up, got misty eyed, or cried, and I think I haven't had another misty eyed moment since the beginning. At this point, but they're coming.
Come
All right,
back to
so
me.
we got the heptapods montage.
Yes,
Learning
this is so
montage. I love
I
a
re-
learning
I-
montage.
Rewound this one multiple times. They leave no footprint, no sign of communication between their different pods. The theories on why they are where they are, either the
Lowest
lowest
occurrence
incident
of lightning
of
bolts.
lightning or a hit song from the 1980s. I don't even remember the full context of that
And they
line.
have no correlation between their spoken and written language.
Yes.
The writing is called seismographic, conveys meaning, it doesn't represent sounds, unlike all human written languages.
Mm.
And I wondered if this was true, and I guess like
What about sign language? It's not a written language.
yeah, exactly. It's like I was thinking about like what the fuck am I thinking of? You know, Egypt. They got the
Oh,
thing.
hieroglyphics?
Hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
does that count, or
Yeah.
did that also convey sounds and not meaning?
Like kanji.
That's a great.
Kanji.
Kanji, has
Kanji is
sounds.
sounds.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Kanji,
I don't know.
katakana, and hiragana are all sounds.
I don't know. I don't know if hieroglyphics had a spoken word form to it.
Yeah.
That's a really
Was it language though, or was it just pictures? Like a mural?
Hieroglyphics?
Yeah.
I think it was
A little
words.
both. Yeah.
I
Mm.
also, dude, shout out to Bay Area legends hieroglyphics. Del the Funky Homo Sapien,
Oh
the
hell yeah.
others.
Hell yeah.
And then we do get this thing where Pakistan figured out that the logogram is free of time. It's a
Yeah.
non-linear orthography. There is no front or back, just like them. They have no front or back. And I love the reflection of all of these things, how like they're linked. Like, right, they don't really have a conception of front or back, and like direction wise or time wise. That's
Yeah.
fucking fun.
Yeah. I also
Love it.
I like that it's Pakistan. I don't know why. I think maybe it's just that
The collaboration.
yeah, it's just like a country that you don't think about super often unless it's just like
Unless you're Pakistani.
yeah,
Or you
Indian.
have a
or you're
close
like
friend who's Pakistani.
or there's something going down between Pakistan and India or something, so it's just like, and there's so much of history of like the Middle East and Eastern Asia contributing so much to science and mathematics, and it's like boom, here's this smaller country that's cracking the code on this thing before like all the others. I love that.
Yeah. And there's I mean it's sick. It's sick. It's cool stuff. I remember there was a video I watched about linguistics where there is this language that's nearly extinct in Pakistan that is like they have a mixed base counting system, which is fucking awesome. Like they don't
What
just
is
count
that?
like base 12 or
Oh.
like base 10, but they like
Oh.
They
it's
mix
like
it.
mixed.
Interesting. That's cool.
Sounds complicated.
We also get here that
To you.
speaking
Yeah.
of complicated, they can speak complex sentences in 2 seconds with their language.
Right, because it's like a hyper. It's like
Well,
a
they can,
poem
they
in
can
one
write.
symbol.
They're saying they can write logograms.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That
Within
quickly.
2 seconds,
Yeah.
which it has like so much meaning in it. That's another like amazing aspect as a sci-fi movie that it really succeeds at is the tech showing how it's deciphering the different words, and it's showing it how it maps it out, so you can actually see that this is
It
all
helps us
like,
understand it. Yeah.
and it's such a cool like
Without getting bogged down in it.
yeah, without getting bogged down in it, but with so much world building that it doesn't focus on too hard, but had to take so much thought and work and like
Yeah.
it's amazing.
It looks dope as fuck. I love all those scenes where it's like it almost feels like it's measuring the distance between certain points for the
Yeah.
strokes because that has something to do with the meaning.
It's so cool.
Yeah, and the scenes with her iPad where she's like scrolling through all these parts of little circles and combining them together to have meaning.
Yeah, that's so fun.
It's so fun. And then I was thinking on the way over here, like, how can you be sure that these aliens, if you write human on a board and then they make a symbol, how can you be sure that they're like that's an accurate translation?
Right, for sure.
But we're not getting bogged down. We now have an iPad with all the vocabulary on it.
Yeah, I think this is definitely fun enemy of the nitpick for sure.
Yep.
Like I think it's interesting to talk about it and like, ooh, like how realistic is this? And then again, are we running into the kangaroo thing that
I
she's
also
talking
don't know
about?
how
you know?
much time has passed here.
That,
How
exactly,
long
yeah,
have they
for
been
sure.
at this?
Yeah, which
26
is
sessions.
speaking to what you were saying at one point.
So only a month.
36 sessions.
Only like a month or two.
Yeah,
If
a
it's
month.
because they're doing it every day, right? So
Every 18 hours.
yeah. Interesting.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying, Fredo?
Yeah.
No, I'm just like it speaks to we don't know how many sessions they're at, like or how much time has passed. Speaking to like what you were saying
Because
earlier,
it's hard cutting
yeah,
and
about the
all
way
over
that
the
the time
place.
is moving now.
Totally. We get a this is very much I was thinking palate cleanser. It's funny how
Yes.
how much that keeps coming
Yeah.
up here. But
A little
like,
bit of pickled ginger on the plate.
yeah, where you just it was so busy, so much information. I'm like scrambling to write all these notes, and then it just like cuts to like a nice quiet moment of Luis and
Yeah.
and Ian bonding by the truck.
And this is the
Yes.
line with the like thing where he's like, you know, like I don't understand how you're so good at like with communication, and he's like, I guess that's why I'm single. And she says, you can totally understand everything about communicate. You can totally understand communication, and still be single.
Right. And this is also where you approach language as a mathematician.
Which
Yep,
was
yep.
intended and taken as a compliment, but
Yeah.
can be insulting if.
I take it as a like as someone who sings when even if someone tells me I remind them of someone who I'm not a big fan of, like, oh, they like that band.
Yeah.
Right. So that's like
It is totally like the thing of like my compliment is to say that you're like me almost in a way too, like
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's the little academic rivalry turning into romance. I made a
or
note
even more
here
like you
Sorry,
remind
go ahead.
me of someone or something
that I
love
respect,
that I
that
love.
I love. Yeah.
I love that it's like you're not really being hit over the head with it to the like I really kind of love the way it culminates too with him ultimately saying like I've had my head tilted back to the stars for all these years and it wasn't them that
Oh.
amazed me.
Yeah.
It was you.
meeting
That's so
you.
sweet.
It's so sweet. Again,
That's
just
so
like a
good.
little like heavy-handed, but it's so
No,
good. It's
no, it's
so
a
good.
movie.
It's
It's
so
a
It is
good.
a little
fucking
cheesy.
movie.
If somebody said that to me in real life, I'd be like,
It's a movie.
"Where'd you learn this?"
It's a fucking
Yes,
movie.
it's a
I
movie.
know,
So,
I know.
okay,
it's
hold
great,
on.
and it's great. And I
And
was
also,
crying.
he's already-
Okay,
he's
I was
al-
crying.
He's already kind of quirky too.
So,
Like I say, dude, I'm a bit of a weird guy, and I would definitely probably say this to like I would maybe say this to one
Yeah.
of my friends.
Yeah,
Like,
you're right. You're right. It's heavy-handed in a cheesy way that I believe like is realistic.
yeah,
It's not cheesy in an unrealistic way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and you're right. This is better than most cheesy lines.
This has been the Cheez It Corner,
cheesy.
Crunch.
That just happened.
sponsored by Cheez Its.
That just happened.
I wrote here for that first little romance scene of them in the field. It wasn't really romance. It was just mostly cute. I wrote, without knowing any better, gotta have some romance for some reason. Oh, there's a reason.
There's a reason. Yeah, that's a really good point from a first viewer's
I,
perspective.
I was very much like, oh, they're doing the trope with the movies where you have to have a romantic subplot because there's a woman in it, you
That's
know?
such a good point.
I didn't. You know, my first time watching it, I didn't get that. I thought it felt very like sort of like they're colleagues who respect each other and they're working together.
I just like romance in movies or in
Yeah, I mean,
stories. So I was just like, okay, yeah, there's a
no,
romance
I like
plot.
it too.
Cool.
I used to be a little bit more jaded about it, but I do respond a lot more positively to it these days. But I'm just in my God honest take. When I watched that movie in the theaters, I remember being like, "Oh, that's cool that they like respect each other and they're like
Yeah.
friends."
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also, they love
This
each
is
other.
and it's great to have a palate cleanser here because next scene
yeah,
is
back
Mark's
to tension.
Time
we're
for
in the
fear
barracks,
and
and
suspicion.
we're watching the fear mongering happening. You know,
First photo of aliens goes viral. There's riots. 800,000 march on Washington.
yeah.
And you get this is where you get the soldier listening to the hardcore conservative
Well,
podcaster.
it's both of them. It's Marx and some other guy
Mm.
who I think ultimately, like, they are the two guys who orchestrate what I'm going to call a terrorist attack on an alien life form.
That is correct.
Yeah, what a bummer, man. Yeah, I was thinking throughout this whole sequence where I'm like, man, we gotta be better than this, but like, I could see it happening, dude. If I'm being honest, it could happen. I think
Absolutely.
I think it's unlikely that they would be able to do this, and I just like to think that most people would be like, they have faster than light travel. What are we gonna like? We are at their mercy a bit. Like, fight if we have to, but throwing the first punch when you don't understand what's going on is beyond stupid.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah, I think that they were desperate and they felt like they had to do something. They, for some reason,
Right.
were propagandized into believing that these aliens were a threat,
Right.
that they were coming for us. And in fact, I think at this point in the movie, some of the politicians and leaders were starting to float that idea around.
Right.
Oh, they're just trying to divide us. There was that sus line about the Aborigines people and the kangaroos where
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker was like, oh,
Oh,
and you know
yeah.
about the Aborigines, a more advanced race wiped them out.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah,
what
that
happened
was
to them.
that
yeah.
was fucking. Whew.
Yeah.
That's like that hurts.
Yeah, that was like you're like, come on, man. But like, that's where their heads are at. That's where the army people's heads are at. And it's been so long without the kind of tangible progress that army people want to see in the movie world. And so there's tensions. Things are getting suspicious. People are like, we're under attack. We gotta bomb the aliens.
Yeah, pretty wild behavior for sure though. The next scene we do have like Ian is working and so is Louise, and there's this really awesome sort of use of the sound design of the pages flipping
Mm.
and like her acting coming together to
Mm.
show the disorientation.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, dude, you just have to picture what it's like for her being on set. Like when it comes together
Yeah.
on screen, it looks so nice, but like. All right, this is your motivation is that this is what you're experiencing. Also, we never mentioned Eugene, the most well-versed actor out of probably anyone we've had on the podcast
Actor.
before.
yes, I would say so.
So, I mean, he could probably speak to this a little bit more, but yeah, I mean, it's so cool the way she gets lost in this role. Like I feel like
Yeah.
she embodies it so well.
She's so tired and stressed the whole time. And then there's little flashes of, like, it was, acting is like flirting. If you can tell they're doing it, they're not doing a very good job.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those roles that is so light in emotional expression. Oh, sorry.
There's a cat here.
podcast
No,
listeners.
there's a
Special little
kitty.
get.
There's a kitty sighting.
It's one of those roles that the wrong actor could totally fall flat with this, I think, because she's so muted, and it's like there's so many movies and
You're
stories.
staring at her face for a lot of this movie.
How much of this movie is just her like with a kind of a blank expression, but like the little things she
Rorschach
does.
test.
It's so good. It's so good.
Emotional Rorschach test, dude.
Absolutely.
Was this the scene where she's hallucinating the alien in the
No,
room?
she doesn't. It's the one where she gets lost in the memory of this one is called mommy and daddy
Mm,
help the aliens or
yeah.
talk to animals.
Yes,
Talk to
talk to
animals.
And
animals.
she's like, yeah, little nose, which is such a cute little name for a
Yeah.
kid.
She says to him, this is where we get the idea that she's divorced, right? Because we're viewing
Yeah.
this first time sort of watch, or even second time watch, knowing that it's in the future or whatever. Like she was divorced.
She
'Cause she says it's okay that
yeah.
it's okay that mommy and daddy aren't. And then I love the way the little girl cuts her
The
off.
little girl's so good also.
Yes,
Yeah.
All-
Yeah.
there's a
There's
couple-
three
yeah,
and actresses.
Yeah, she says it's okay to be sad about your dad and I. And she's like, I know, and it's like, yeah, such a realistic answer. I thought.
I know it's just make believe. It's not even real. It's just a picture.
yeah, and she's trying so hard to act like she's not sad when
And
she's
the-
like obviously heartbroken.
The foreshadowing that we don't see the picture, and then one of the final shots of the movie is the canary in the cage with them holding hands.
But we do see
Yeah.
the picture at this point, I think.
Oh, we do. I must have been
it's
writing
like
notes.
it's kind of in the side of the shot and it's at a bad angle, so you're not really paying attention
But
to
you
it. It
do
just
see,
sees
like,
like two figures.
The two people holding hands.
Yeah,
Right.
and she says, "Who is this, mommy and daddy?" And Louise doesn't handle that question well. I feel like it's almost heavier in Louise's mind than it is in Hannah's mind, where like, oh no, daddy's in this picture. This makes me feel not good, and my child is suffering, and I have to address this. Like, you can also just be like, wow, what a great picture, sweetheart.
Yes. Also, this is the second time I teared up here, where
Yeah, dude.
so she says it's okay to be sad about your dad and I, that whole scene, and then it's followed by "Are you okay?" Knowing that like
Yeah.
that's her love. It's Ian asking if you're okay. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
for sure.
oh my god, dude, it's so powerful.
And the way she says, I can't explain it.
They do this multiple times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Where the flash forward is her realization of her husband leaving her, and it's Ian supporting her in the present as she's coming out
Mhm.
of that, and it's just like,
Yeah, later
Damn,
on
dude.
where she says, I realized why my husband left me.
ugh,
It's so good.
it's so
I,
good.
It's
I
really good.
forgot how good it felt to be held by you.
Oh my
Ugh.
god, dude. I
Ugh.
was thinking this movie probably has me under its thumb. Like, there is this movie that I will just like I thought about it the other day and I started crying. Like I will watch and they're doing the anniversary screening. It's Brokeback Mountain and like I don't know what it is about it, but just as soon as I like it's a really good movie.
I love
and,
that. I
and
love
this movie, dude, is like of a very similar ilk where I'm just like
Can't hold
but
it
I
back.
had forgotten how much.
Yeah.
And also, like going through this is the first time I've watched it post divorce. And that's wild, dude. The end of the movie, I'm an emotional
Oh,
wreck.
yeah.
I didn't
I
sleep.
didn't even consider
I didn't
that.
take care of
Absolutely.
myself. I didn't sleep great last night. I've been a little sick. I'm a little bit like, and I had to like work. I'm like kind of like, not in the like not like oh man,
Tip-top shape.
it's not like my life is in the shitter. I'm doing this podcast. Of course things are going great. Like
but the
it's more
tears
so-
defense is low.
but yeah, I'm a little raw, right? And then I watched this and I was like, fuck. Oh my god. And it just the end just destroyed me. Destroyed me so much because I'll talk about it when we get to it.
Yeah.
Amor fati.
I think I've cried every time I've watched this movie.
Yeah, it's so good, dude.
And I was wondering, because spoilers. I was wondering going into this, like, okay, I'm like positive it's an S tier, but what if it's not, dude? What if I watch it again and I'm just like, yeah, it's really good. But no, every time.
Every time. So good.
Yeah. So then the scenes of the countryside too, and her out there and having all of the like intercutting that's starting to happen from this point onward is so heartbreaking and it's so beautiful. Like I love it so like it's so well shot, like, and there's so much like contrast.
I do think Eugene was right, though. I do think this "you okay" moment after it's okay to be sad about your dad and I is when he asks how are you feeling, and it's intercut, and it's just like the alien is in the room
No,
with them.
that's not
That was
It's
when
later
they
on.
first
It's when they're
dropped
talking about the
Sapir.
Sapir-Whorf
Yes,
hypothesis.
Yes, exactly.
I have it noted in my notes.
Okay, great.
Then I must have a missing
Then I will
scene
expect you to bring it up when the time is right.
Yeah, because she just says she needs some fresh air. Then she pops outside, and she's like looking outside, and there's this intercut, but there's not any like sort of dialogue. It's just a lot of like very emotional vibes, and then it cuts to like Ian talking about the
Okay,
Sapir-Whorf
Gotcha.
hypothesis.
Yeah, I just didn't write that part down.
Um,
Forget.
And then and talking about how the language you speak determines the way you think.
Yep.
I knew when we were watching this movie in the theater, I was like, this is gonna be like a sticking point for my dad, and it ultimately was, like I talked about in the beginning
That's
of the
so funny.
episode, but we were able to get over it.
Well, it's so interesting because it's like such a small part. Like we said, there's so many stories in this movie, so it's like such a small sticking point. I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of Sapir-Whorf before. I'm taking them at their word when they basically condensed it to you think in language. I mean,
It's not you think in language. It's
is it
the
like
language you
universal human
speak.
language?
Determines
Stuff.
how you think.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
maybe not. You could even go as low as affects the way you think.
So
you know?
there,
Yeah.
there's a famous example of like Inuits, how many words they have for snow, and the more words you have for it, the more they define their reality. Like they can recognize so many versions of snow compared to you and I who just
because
have.
they have words for it because they experience
And
it,
so
and
they
they have
think-
words for it because they experience
Exactly. So that's Sapir-Whorf at its like.
I feel
most
like
basic.
umami is almost like an example of it as well.
it. Yeah, it's become a word now.
Where like
In
where
English.
where a lot of people, if you just give them like the like basic like taste, they're like, okay, yeah, that works. Like very few are gonna have like the
Savory.
tools to be like, wait, there's something else there that doesn't have a name.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Or
no, and then
like,
and then another culture comes in and is like, oh, we have something, and we hold
Right.
that in high regard, you know.
Right. And is it kind of like the wine dark sea in the Odyssey where they didn't have a word for blue, and the theory is they couldn't see blue yet or something like that?
Yeah. Well, there actually is a real world example of this I learned of in college as well. Of I believe I don't know which country in Africa. There was a tribe there that they had like 100, like not 100, maybe like 20 to 30 words for green, and they didn't identify blue.
Right.
They saw blue as another shade of green.
Right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So interesting.
So
Very
cool.
very cool stuff.
Sapir-Whorf.
And
Yeah.
he asked her, "Are you dreaming of
Well,
their
can I say one
language?"
more thing,
Oh,
too?
yes, sorry.
Also, well, actually, it's not that interesting.
It probably is.
Well, I was gonna say, like, there's even shit like the conception of of how many continents there are. Like,
Yeah.
like people in other countries learn that there are 5 continents,
Right.
and it makes you look
Yeah.
at the Americas differently
Right.
conceptually when you think
Right.
of them as
That's
one
a really good one.
than when you think of like.
I mean, same with the way Europe and Asia is connected,
And
and Africa.
Africa.
Like, what do you define as a continent? It's
yeah,
borders at a certain extent. Yeah, I agree. There's really like what 4 continents, 5 with Australia, right? Yeah, 5.
yeah. It's well, one of the reasons they also don't count Antarctica. Like when I
Oh,
was in
interesting.
school in Peru, they didn't
Nobody
count
lives there.
Antarctica.
Interesting.
Is Sapir-Whorf related to or different from universal language, human language theory? Do we know?
I think separate.
Okay. Then I got him a little bit confused. But yes, thinking in language. I think George Carlin had a bit where he says we think in language. Maybe that's what he was talking about.
Interesting.
Anyway, she's
Yeah.
dreaming in their
Yeah,
language.
that's such a cool question. He's like, yeah, are you dreaming in like their language?
Which is
Her
just
response
conceptualizing that.
is so interesting to me.
and then we
because-
hear the chirping suddenly, and then that's when the heptapod appears.
Yes.
and she says,
Yes. This line.
Yeah, yes, kind of, but that doesn't make me unfit for the job.
She doesn't
Yeah.
even say yes, kinda. She's immediately defensive. And
Yes.
It's because she believes in this moment she's losing her mind.
Yep.
That's the way I
Yeah.
took
Exactly.
it.
Yeah,
And
for
that's
sure.
not what he was asking at all.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, that's kind of like, do you dream in their language?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And she's like tripping out, and she's like, Oh, I don't know why you would ask. Like, just because I might be doesn't mean I
Yeah.
am
Yeah,
not
yeah,
capable.
yeah.
It's like, whoa.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
the delivery.
very,
It's a
very good.
big moment for both of them. And the heptapod appearing there, y'all should check out Enemy because it's very, very reminiscent of the another Villeneuve movie where
Yeah, I've heard of both Enemy and what is it, Prisoners?
yes, but Enemy is more has a little bit more surrealism
Okay, cool,
to it,
cool.
whereas like Prisoners is a very grounded story.
Gotcha. Cool.
Oof.
I've
Let's
loved every
turn
movie.
this off and let's watch Prisoners right now.
Okay.
Also, Incendies. Gotta watch Incendies. That's also a very grounded story.
Sandy's nuts.
Incendies nuts, indeed. Once you watch it, you'll feel bad about saying
I'm
that.
sorry.
Even though I still say
I
that
already
all
feel
the
bad
time.
about saying it.
It's good though. Check it out.
What sticks out to me about the heptapod appearing is all of her trippy memories up to that point have been based on something that has happened or will happen in the future. The heptapod is just a straight up hallucination. She's just freaking out.
Or is it from the moment that it'll be in front of her in the fog and it's 2 layers of time?
But then she's putting the image of the heptapod in the past or future over the present image
Yeah.
of the room.
That I think that gives credence to that it isn't that she's just having memories once you understand this language. It is more of a Dr. Manhattan experiencing in the moment, and this is just her kind of slowly
Like it's when the radio
experiencing-
channels get crossed and you can hear like a song,
Yeah.
but also
Yeah.
like a talk show host.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Yeah, like again, like she doesn't quite have full access to it, right? Like
this is also when
weapon.
the canary chirping is overlaid.
yeah, that's what
that
I said
part's
exactly.
so
I love
good.
that. They like come up like immediately. And that's when you know you're like, okay, something is not okay here.
That's so good. So good. That was the jump scare. That scared the shit out of me the first time that
It was
happened.
the jump scare.
Yeah. And I love
'Cause that's
the
the first time you see them. Like in their
Like,
full.
Yeah.
Unobscured by fog.
you don't see their top though, their knobby top.
Right. But it's the first like unobscured
I
foggy
dare say,
image of
young
them.
man, you do not see their knobby top.
Here we learn that
They look weird without the mist. It's almost like the mist is a part of them in a way to me.
Interesting.
I also like the way that the ships disappear later. I was like,
Yeah.
they're like mist.
Dude.
They're mist people.
Amazing special effect. I forgot about how
Yeah.
good that was.
That
was so
that
good.
looks really good.
Yes, it looks
That
amazing.
looks really, really good.
Yeah.
But Weber wakes up Louise asking if she knows
Yeah.
Mandarin,
yes.
and then they get she's translating what Big Domino is saying. It seems China is mobilizing and Russia's gonna follow suit. And I love how she like hears him saying these random things, and she's like, "What? What are they talking about?" Like they're mahjong tiles.
Yeah, and this does feel like the sketchiest kind of like government surveillance moment in a lot of ways, where it's like, are they watching him through satellite? Is that what's happening here? Because you can see
They
him in
said-
the background.
They said they picked him up on a wide communication, which means somebody over there in China wasn't following like encryption or security protocols. And they
Interesting.
managed to pick up only part of the conversation. They're like, what does this mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Weird. Wild.
And we
But
learned
yeah, they're
that
always watching.
each of the 12 different arrivals are offering advanced technology.
Yeah, I think after this,
Offer weapon.
I think because she's talking to him and she says, "Okay, so they're using mahjong. Are they using mahjong to communicate?"
Mm.
And then she's like, "Are
It's
they using a
brilliant.
game to communicate?" And she thinks that's a bad idea. And so then Weber's like, "Okay, you have to go and you have to ask them the question." So then they go and they ask the question and they get the answer of offer weapon, and then that is when we find out that I think we see that everyone goes radio silent. Everyone goes radio silent. And then we get the like thing on the news that China got the message use weapon. But before that, there's this really good part where they're like, where they get told off for weapon and they're all like debating and Marx is freaking out. And he's like, they use the fucking word weapon. And Louise is like, they might not know the difference between weapon and tool. And Halpern says that what they want them to do is all duke it out amongst themselves. And whoever wins gets to keep it because since they're not one unified front, it's so much easier to let them all take each other out and then deal with whoever's left over. And there's a really interesting part of this where he like draws all these historical things where he talks about
thank you.
Germany in Rwanda. He talks about the English in India.
Every colonial
and then
power.
he says that Hungary, there's even a word for it in Hungary, and I looked this up. The word is taktika, salami taktika, which
Whoa.
means salami tactics, which is this concept of like, if you want to accomplish something that is against the like international law or something,
Yeah.
you break it up into tiny, like not punishable steps.
Oh,
Is like
interesting.
like some people
Yeah.
have talked about some of China's expansion in the South Sea as being an example of like salami tactics.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was a cool little thing. Like
Interesting.
I like how they never say it either.
Yeah.
I like how all of these examples are about what humans do. And they're like, well, clearly these intelligent aliens must do the same thing.
Of course.
Because they're intelligent and we're intelligent.
That's
So they're
a bit
just
of the
like us.
heavy-handed stuff for me because it's very blatantly like what's the line? That it's something about like they want us to turn against each other, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yes,
just like
because that's what we would do in their
right,
position.
and just being so sure that's what they're trying to do is a little heavy-handed to me in terms of that character, but like I think the sentiment is very real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well acted as well, which I think
Yeah.
always gives it more, right? Like when like if those things feel sort of like not fully cogent, right? It kind of ends up a good performance can sell it a little bit more, you know.
Totally. And like I said,
and
I love
Halpern has that
actor.
sort of hysteria to him.
Yes, yeah. He really nails that role, I think.
Yeah, and this like starts to pick up because there's like this alarm going off. China and Russia are going off the grid.
Yeah, what's that kind of cut where the audio comes in before the scene
A
change?
J cut.
J cut. Yeah, I think we get that with the alarm here transitioning, and
Yeah.
it's always so effective.
And they have orders to go radio silent as well. And it looks like everyone is trying to. And then Louise received to talk to them and say, "We received a message," and they cut the transmission. But then we do get on the news that the Chinese received the message: "Use weapon."
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I found that very believable. I mean, obviously very frustrating that suddenly everybody's turning it off. But this
I
is
buy
like
that.
game theory.
Yeah,
This
I
is
buy
like
that for
prisoner's dilemma shit. Like one, and that's why they call him what's his call sign? Domino.
Big domino.
Big domino.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as one person, then you start suspecting. Okay, they know something and they're acting on it. We got to throw everybody else
Well,
under
we-
the bus to protect ourselves.
We at least got to go talk to the boss about it, right?
Well,
Because now it's a question of, well, they're saving
Yep.
information. Should we be saving information?
This is also like
Yep,
them
exactly.
asking the question is the midpoint of the film. Like that is like almost exactly like halfway in the movie. And this part, like they've made such a big advancement that like it makes so much sense that of course now we're gonna take the 2 steps back, you know.
Yeah.
But it works well. I love it, and it ratchets up the
yeah.
tension for sure.
Yeah,
And
That's
I
drama.
love because I forgot how quickly this part happens where they're like, "Fuck!" Like we're not able to communicate. China is like, sketched out by them. Ian and Louise want to go back up, and that's where we see Mark setting up the fucking explosive already.
Yeah.
And they let them go back in, and they're like, "We have to ask them another question." We have the whole session 37, session 36, part 2 thing.
Mhm.
And it's because they want the clarification on the offering of the weapon.
Yeah. I do have a, like, again, it goes back to the Dr. Manhattan, or are they more in control of what they can do now based on the information they know from the future, where it's like, did you have to, like, if you know in the future that you're going to die, right? Like this, I forget which one, Abbott or Costello, dies here. If
Abbott.
Abbott knows
Abbott is death cycle.
that Abbott is death. I love
Death process.
Death
Yeah,
process.
it's so
yeah.
good.
Death process or death process. Yeah.
Abbott knows they'll be in the death process, based on all of these events. Can they
Yeah.
not control that they put off her weapon? Is it all just happening
That's
at once
part
for them?
of what the story's about, brother. Amor fati. So my guy over here, Eugene, is preaching. It's
Yeah.
like we see what happens. We see our
We do it anyway.
untimely demise, and we do it anyway. We see that our daughter's gonna die, but we don't deny her existence, and instead we celebrate it. And I
Yeah.
think that's so fucking beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
Like it is really the
That's
sentiment.
the core of what makes me cry in this movie.
Yeah.
But
Celebrate life.
Yeah.
I think it's also fate and determinism, where, maybe they know what's going to happen and there's nothing they can do about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying with Dr. Manhattan. For Dr. Manhattan, for those who are not aware, we keep referring to Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen, famously. The gist with Dr. Manhattan is he's experiencing all of time at once. So he can't actually change anything that's happening because he's experiencing every moment as it's happening. So there's no, like, he can't act on previous information because it's not previous. It's still happening now. It's all happening at once. So I wonder if that's what's happening with something like Abbott, where it's just
Yeah.
all of life, all of Abbott's existence is happening at the same time. So he's experiencing, or he or she, or they, or whatever the fuck, is experiencing this moment, the same moment they're experiencing the death process.
Right. It's hard to know, but I think the ultimate read is the knowing but doing it anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Abbott, yeah, I'm pretty sure Abbott knows that I
Yeah.
wrote down here before I remembered what offer weapon actually meant. I thought they were referring to the bomb. I thought they said offer weapon because Abbott and Costello knew that the next thing that was going to happen was a weapon was going to be offered into their room and that it was going to explode. Because they say,
Damn.
why are you here? Offer weapon. That's what's going to happen next.
Interesting. That's
Kinda
so
good.
interesting. I always took it as
Kinda
just
good.
a mistranslation of tool,
Yeah.
but that's a really good read.
Yeah, they later explain that,
Apparatus.
Louise used weapon to solve the crisis.
Right.
Apparatus.
Tool.
Yeah, so we get that clarification. It seems not as bad too. We're like, okay, it seems like they're trying to offer them a tool that can help them, like not something that's meant to like kill, right? But yeah, the timing of all this is so great. I love this. Like, and then the way they get pushed out.
Abbott
And we
says
hear the
goodbye.
gunfire before I think
Yeah.
the bomb even goes off.
I love that little detail because they're just confused.
What's going on? Yeah.
Which is like such a realistic reaction to gunfire. Because were you at the park with us when this happened, Alfredo? I can't recall. Maybe not. We were at the park and some guns started going off, and we were all just like, "Is that fireworks? What is that? Huh? Whatever," and just moved on. Right. So it's like such a real moment to just hear gunfire. That's obviously gunfire behind them, and there's like,
But
okay.
you're also
going
like
on?
entrenched. They're also in the middle of like
Yeah.
a really intense
Yeah.
conversation, and I love the like mixing of it. It's just like so perfect. But one of the things I want to bring up as far as like movies, picture like the movie, like it almost feels, I don't know, like maybe like there's like a Neil, what's his name, Blomkamp. Anyway, so like picture like the story told from Marx's like perspective, and like this like quiet brooding story about someone who thinks that they're saving their country. Like I can just picture it, and like it ends with like at this part of this movie, right?
Yeah.
With like them being arrested. I like honestly, it never.
They're probably dead.
Yeah, I know, dude, and it's never really like. Because they end up both having concussions, and we're following
that's
them
a
as
really,
our point
really
of view
good
characters.
point. Yeah,
But the implication of them, they come and shoot them, right? Like
Yeah.
fucking like the colonel comes in
They
with
had
some like
guns.
people, and yeah,
They had guns and they were shooting on their fellow soldiers.
Marx
Like,
and
what do you
Lasky,
think?
yeah, are probably dead. And they say, right, they're like, okay, try to shoot, like as like to like ward them off, like not to actually like
Mhm.
hurt them.
Suppressing fire only.
And I also like what it's so wild is like no, we shouldn't let them up, and he's like, whatever, just let them up, and that's like fuck, dude. The second you say, okay, let the people go in there
Mhm.
and let them die,
Yeah.
Damning. Yeah.
Oh,
morally
yes.
bankrupt, I
Yeah.
would dare say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. This is also around the time I made a like major plot thread between three of the movies we did this month, which is the theme of our reaction as humanity to have our finger on the trigger. Right, we were talking about that the day the Earth stood still, how every single soldier pointing at the ship all had their finger on the trigger as Klaatu came out. We have in E.T. The cops like pulling their guns on the kids. They're so ready to like
Yeah.
to pull the trigger.
Yeah,
and then
for sure. It's
here,
a great point.
this movie is like so much about, oh, we are so ready to go to war.
Is it funny that in Alien the flaw is that they're not more finger on the trigger
Yeah.
with the
Too busy
flamethrower?
running away.
Yeah. Oh man, I wanna shout out. I don't have it in front of me. I'll do it at the end of the episode. I'll make sure to pull it up. But I really appreciate a lot of the engagement we've been getting. Got some good engagement on the Thing video.
Oh yeah.
And some people leaving comments on the Alien video, providing a little elucidation on Space Jockey, I believe his name is.
Yes, the space jockey.
But yeah, I want to find your call sign, as they say, and give you a shout out. But yeah, let's continue.
Heck yeah, brother.
So, they're in the room. We, as the audience, know there's a bomb. It's gonna go off.
Yep. We love a
Louise
good
and
countdown
Ian
on Cinema
Don't
Forecast,
know.
Eugene.
There's drama. There's tension.
Yep.
I think Abbott and Costello know that the bomb's gonna go off,
Well, yeah.
and I think Abbott is saying goodbye in that scene.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great heroic moment.
She also
for-
sees her daughter, like her baby daughter, again for a moment when they touch. There's this thing with the physical touch with like
Yeah.
ET as well, where there's this like connection that I feel like almost feels like deeper than the language,
Yeah.
which I think feeds into what you're saying about
Yeah.
the way that she's achieving her superpower of like traveling through time.
Yeah, and I just had a very interesting thought on the heroic sacrifice in a way here, is that Costello does know. Costello runs away. Costello's scared.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they can.
Yeah, because they only see
control-
one of them. Yeah, so true.
Well, Costello's there, and then he like runs
Yeah.
off. So maybe they can control it, and like you're saying, Abbott is the one who chooses to
Abbott
save her.
Saves them and gives them the big splurge of all the information right before he
Oh
dies.
man, I remember this is the first time I was like really struck emotionally by Abbott's death. Like I think I had felt it before,
Yes.
but
They have personality.
well, just yeah, that it actually seems like the whole like Abbott came to Earth knowing that they would die in order to save Louise, to
Mhm.
spread this message, to save their civilization.
anyway.
And he did it anyway. So I guess the choice is important to an extent, right? Like in terms of the emotional impact of it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it doesn't necessarily imply choice because
It feels
the
like a
idea
cultural
is-
thing almost, like this cultural thing of like there's a flow, there is a way that the story's being woven, and I am not. So who am I? There's so much hubris in thinking you have choice. If you think about in certain conceptions,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to cut you off, but I agree with you. I don't think there is choice to him. Like in Abbott's culture, there is no such thing.
Yeah.
it's like okay, let's say there is choice. If I, Abbott, retreat from this bomb, Luis and Ian might die,
Yeah.
which defeats the whole purpose of my being here. I will not be able to share with them the information that I am sent here to share, which defeats my whole purpose of being here. So the choice does not compute if there is one. You have to do this in order to save your species 3,000 years later, or whatever the ultimate justification was.
Yeah.
There is no choice. You must do this, and you must enjoy it.
Pour one out for Abbott, y'all.
Shout out to my boy Abbott.
Pour one out for Abby Dabby.
In just the way it just like how again the countdown, you got 20 seconds on the clock, and Abbott
Also, they
is
absolutely do not
knocking-
notice it. You know.
yeah knocking on the window and
So
then
cool.
spews out like a million words or whatever.
Again, it's another one of those things of being overwhelmed by so much knowledge that like you're
Mhm.
blinded by it, like that you
Yeah.
can't really pick it apart.
It looked painful to
Mhm.
Abbott to spit out all that information.
Interesting.
Yeah, it did. It was so chaotic when they'd been there was such like an order to the way they communicated previously. I wonder if that's how they talk to each other like normally, because they could just like spray out a
it's
bunch
like
of things.
just like spitting one out is just like the equivalent
Well,
of
no, they rumble to
talking
each other. Yeah,
incredibly slow.
and I wonder if their rumblings, like how many logograms are they doing in like a rumbling? Are they doing hundreds? Like, can they like pack in that much
Oh,
information?
man, yeah.
I never thought that the rumblings were language at all. I thought it was just kind of like
Well, you're
sounds that they
fucking
made.
whack. Get off the fucking podcast.
I
Clip
thought
that,
their entire language was, because it said that they had no correlation of sound. Their entire language is just written, and the rumblings are just
No,
cool
it's-
alien sounds.
They're, but like, that is also like that aspect of their language. I don't think is like I don't think it's saying that what they that them rumbling isn't speaking. I think it's them talking
Yeah, me
because
too.
Okay.
there's a back and forth. There's a rhythm to it, and I think what they say as well. Because I mean, the one thing that people talk about with language is that like the relationship between written language and like spoken language is arbitrary. Like people will say like, well, O looks like the shape your mouth makes when you say an O, but like that's just like kind of like that's like one example. Whereas most letters
Mhm.
are just arbitrary like symbols of like a sound, you know?
Yeah, I would be surprised if they weren't communicating on some form for being such an advanced life form, unless it's just like them breathing.
I mean, how were the ships communicating to each other? No radio waves, no nothing. Maybe they have.
Well, they already talked about it like in the future.
Oh, do they? What do they say?
No, that's what I'm saying.
No,
like
yeah,
if they
they speak through
debrief,
time.
as long as they
Oh,
tell each other what they
right.
saw, then they know
Yeah.
what they saw.
That's such a good point. They don't need to. You're so right.
Like maybe or maybe there's
They
technology.
communicate
Well,
like-
but like,
through
why?
time.
What would you need to communicate
Mispowered.
if you're experiencing it all at the same time or seeing
Yeah.
it all at the same time?
yeah.
You already know what's gonna happen.
We also know very little about how like collective like they are, right? Like I don't, or how individualistic they are.
Yeah, because we only saw Abbott and Costello. Presumably, there were at least 22 more of them.
Yeah, 20. Yeah,
Presumably.
exactly. Yeah, it's a dope scene. I love the way when Luis wakes up, you're like, okay, this movie is in like overdrive now. Like she's like, okay,
Yeah.
she goes into
The pace really.
And
yeah,
she's
and they even
still
tell
so
they say
calm.
your room is on like fucking your room has to figure something out. Like we're being evacuated right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Definitely
going to
like
war.
end of second act, beginning of third act here vibes.
I just started my third page of notes.
Oh, hey, brother. There you go.
Look at
And just in the visual of the gravity turning off and them falling
Yeah.
backwards
Yeah,
while the
that's sick.
flames come out and the door shuts. It's just
that. Good stunt.
Awesome.
Really
Awesome.
cool. Really cool stunt. Love to know how they did that, but it looks really dope.
Yeah, it does.
And then we have like Ian had woken up a little bit before, and then we get someone saying something. I think the doctor mentioning that he wouldn't go until he knew that she was okay. So sowing some more seeds of romance. But ultimately, I love when we get to the part of like him like seeing like the whole fucking like we see that they captured it on video.
Mhm.
It wasn't interrupted by the
Yeah.
explosion. They have all of the information.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's going to take us years.
Yep.
Yeah. And then this is where we get China's going to blow the thing out of the fucking sky, and they've declared war on the aliens, and they've given them 24 hours to leave
Which is
Chinese
so
airspace.
fucking dumb, dude.
It's pretty fucking funny, yeah.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
Oh, China. You know China. They're so rash and they love declaring war on stuff.
I do love
but
it.
again, the America just tried to bomb them, right? We were
Yeah.
actually the first offender. So that's what I was saying is like, yeah, but like all of them kind of
Yeah.
get a bad
It
rap.
is also like ultimately her relationship with the Chinese general is like it's kind of sweet
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the movie kind of like
It humanizes him a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
the message is from his
Absolutely, yeah.
dying wife. His wife died. Hey, come on.
And this is where we get Hannah asking about what a long-term win-win is,
yes.
but more sciencey. And this is where we get the line, if you want science, call your father.
Yeah,
and
heartbreaking line.
that's what I wrote down. I had to pause it right there and I was like, wait, this is the twist, isn't it? I remember what the twist is. It's in the future.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yep, because I was like, that's so funny that she has this relationship with Ian and she was married to a scientist in the past.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, no, hold on.
Wait a second.
This is a big reveal right now. I feel like in this episode, that's awesome.
No, he didn't.
Well, he mentioned at the beginning, but he didn't say how far into it. I thought you just had like forgotten momentarily, and then you're like, oh
no,
that's
yeah,
right.
he was telling. Yeah, he mentioned that when we were eating. He's like, I completely forgot about the like future thing. Together.
This is my second watch through, and I did not remember the big twist.
Oh, so good.
I remember there was timey-wimey shit, but it was only until this moment at 1 hour, 21 minutes, and
Some amount of seconds.
XX seconds that the, what was the line? If you want science, ask your father.
Yeah.
That was what triggered it for me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. There's
And
also
but it also feeds into the way that she's like, okay, I'm gonna take it as a compliment that you said that I like approach linguistics mathematically, and her whole sort of like, oh, this again, another science man trying to shout me down because I, am a linguist and that's not like a real science,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and again here we have that moment of if you want science, call your father, like heartbreaking to him. Hey, it's time to open that bottle you've been hiding, right?
Well,
Like
yeah.
lifting her up again,
Yeah, it's
right?
great. Yeah,
It's
she wakes up
Wow.
and she's
Yeah.
like,
What a parallel.
what time is it? And he's kind of like, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, okay, I'm ready. Like, and then I love how she sees him and when he says that, she's like, oh, you found something. And like the excitement, that's
Mhm.
really cute. Like
yeah, yeah.
that's a
well,
part.
they do it every
Very
time they show
charming.
the heartbreak.
Yeah.
Pretty much, it's like heartbreak, boom, why they fell
Hard
in
cut
love.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Wow.
And what
Now I
did
gotta
he
watch it
do?
a third time.
He found all the symbols for time within the message. And what did he do, Cinema Forecast listeners?
Enhance.
He did what your good buddy Fredo loves to talk about. It's like jazz. The notes you don't play are just as important as the notes you do play.
I do love that.
And
Yeah, baby.
the logograms you don't gram are just as Grammy as the grams you do gram, How many times do I have to say this in different formats? I'll keep saying it till the end of time.
Yeah, what a brilliant. I don't think I fully understood that until this time. Yeah, he says
Well,
0.0333%.
Connor, it's because you're not
Repeating, of course.
syncopating and swinging. enough.
I'm not I don't got the jazz hands quite yet. Yeah, so this is, that's a fraction for 1 out of 12.
Yeah,
So
0.083
they've
recurring.
given 12 pieces of information to 12 nations. And very much like the day the Earth stood still, that is part of the deal. You
It's
guys are
almost-
going to communicate with each other, put this puzzle piece together, work together so you can help us.
Don't you feel like it's kind of like a more it feels like somebody watched The Day the Earth Stood Still and was like, all right, like, can we punch this up a little bit?
Was it Denis?
Yeah.
Like, and not in a mean way, because I think The Day the Earth Stood Still, we have a very human,
Yeah.
a very, I was glazing Michael Rennie up, and I think that's an awesome part of it. It's very sort of different. And sorry to talk about a movie that you may or may not have seen, Eugene.
I have, but in the future.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
But yeah, so this movie doesn't really like I just love how the way that it deals with that aspect of like worldwide collaboration.
Absolutely.
I like it more cuz we were that was a little bit of a nitpick for us where was it? Yeah, well, yeah, we were like, why do you have to approach people in this very specific
yeah.
way? And like their whole approach makes sense. It's like very like logical, like can't really like communicate that well. And you know what? This is what we're gonna give you. And it's actually I love because there's an underlying part. It's too complicated for one country to figure out. Like you literally need to put all of humanity's greatest minds together to figure this out.
Yeah, that's a great point too. Absolutely.
You promise?
I do promise.
Thanks.
I do promise you right now and in the future.
You guys have great points.
So
Thanks,
do you,
man.
Eugene.
They're
Thanks
so
for coming
good.
on our
Yeah.
podcast. Oh yeah, this is around the time that Russia executes one of their experts. And it's also we
Yes.
start really
Yes.
getting like in terms
So
of
Halpern is
pacing,
really negative.
Yeah, we start like getting all these flash forwards while we're getting. So this is like she's talking to her daughter about the non-zero sum game while having this conversation, basically, and it's cutting
Yeah.
back and forth.
But they're also saying they're
cuts
like,
are so
how are
good.
we gonna
Yeah.
get people to collaborate? And it's like we share our information.
Right.
And I kind of love like that the colonel is kind of on board for it. That he's like, okay, yeah, but we're blacked out with communications. Like,
Yeah.
what do we do? And they even send people to go and try to communicate physically with
Right.
like the other countries. And I do like to see that sort of like cooperative spirit like
yeah,
come out from the military, at least from the colonel.
totally. There was this one shot I wanted to shout out earlier where, like, when we first came to the base, there was the 12 screens lit up with
Mhm.
all the
Yeah.
people like
Yeah, yeah.
conversing, and then there's just this shot of disconnected on
Yeah,
every
yeah,
single
on all
screen.
of
I'm
them.
like, that's
Mhm.
that's what like so much of this movie's
Well,
about.
there's also there's the scene before where they start disconnecting.
Yeah, yeah.
Where they say we're going on blackout, and like you already see that China and Russia are off, and then all of them start going off, and then when we cut to a screen later on, it's
just
all of them
just a nice,
disconnected. Yeah.
beautiful pan of just all the disconnected screens. Love it.
To your
Yeah.
earlier point about cutting in and out of the scene, the non-zero sum game, both instances of that, talking
Yep.
to her daughter and figuring out how to share the information.
Well, and
I
the
am
way that he
such-
just says it so offhandedly, I kind of
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Like it's a
That
non-zero
is-
sum game.
That was a crying moment for me when that clicked, the
Oh,
non-zero
nice.
sum game. I'm like, holy shit. But I just want to say, I'm a sucker for that kind of storytelling where you cut in between something that's happening at this time and cut directly to something else that's happening at a different time, and how they parallel and complement each other until eventually converging on this single point, and it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, so satisfying.
Like Freeman.
Like Freerin, that's what I was going to bring up earlier
reminds
about.
me of
Fredo was
Freerin in
talking
some
about
ways,
Brokeback
yeah.
Mountain always makes you cry. Freerin always makes me cry. This is the same shit. It's time shit. Time shit makes me cry.
It's just a looking at life and
Have you
kind
seen
of
The Fountain?
The Duchamp art piece?
No, the movie, the Aronofsky movie.
No.
Okay.
good movie. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
You were saying something about how you guys know I'm really smart and stuff, but
I do.
No, it's okay. So I had a moment here during the non-zero sum game moment where I wrote, does she realize it's the future here? And I don't think she does quite yet, but I think she starts kind of going down that route of like, wait a second, like, is this? Because at first she thinks she's losing her mind, and then she's like, is it, who knows what she thinks? You could think it's an alternate dimension, it's just hallucinations, like, it could mean a million things. But I feel like she starts to go down that rabbit hole of like, oh, wait, like, this does seem like it's real memories from somewhere in my life. And it really starts to challenge her in a way, I think.
The lattice starts to link up between all those memories and what's happening in the quote unquote present.
Yeah. And she gets basically a vision to go to the pod that is coming down.
Yep. Exactly.
She just like yeets out of the room.
She just wanders out.
Yeah.
I love
Does she
that.
get a vision of
Yeah,
something?
yeah. She sees the pod
Yep.
lowering down, and it's intermixed with
It's
these.
cut in and out.
Right, yeah.
And then she
And
just
I love,
walks out.
the
And
way
she's
she
just
walks
like,
out
well-
and it fucking comes down. She still looks so nervous too when she gets in it.
Because she doesn't quite understand what's going on. I think she's not even conscious or in the present moment half of the time. It's like, imagine you're just clicking in and out of consciousness, except instead of being here and in darkness, you're being here and you're being at a different point in time.
I mean, she's basically tripping on drugs.
Yes, she is tripping on time, baby.
Tripping on
The
time
hardest drug known to man.
I feels like she's
Puts
trying
everybody
to
in
like
the ground.
get a hold of the reins, right? Like,
Yeah.
like trying to steady herself, like as she like teeters between like different moments.
But also like in a very heroic, badass way where she's taking care of business.
Yeah, and this is the part where we get like that she goes into the mist,
I love the
right?
pod.
And she's like seems to be floating in there.
Yeah, this
Abbott is
so
death
trippy.
process.
The way her hair is just like
Flowing.
Yeah, that was the
floating.
CGI that was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is from 10 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
That worked for me more than
Yeah,
than the way the aliens
That's so funny. This works less
Yeah,
for me than the
I'm
way
with
the
Fredo
aliens
on
look.
this one.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I like the design of the aliens.
Well,
just
because
the actual texture.
but it's also like
of the
aliens
animation.
are aliens. It's so much easier to write that off because like but I know what Amy Adams looks like, you know.
Right. For me it was just
That's not what her hair does
It was
in
just
real
like a
life.
very surreal
No, it's fun. It's a fun shot. I love the way it's kind of like floating.
Yeah. We're
it's
clearly
cool.
in a different part of the ship now.
Yeah, it seems like she's in the part that was behind the glass.
like
Yeah.
it's almost like a visual of like being underwater, but like
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
but
floating in
like
the
what I mean
atmosphere.
is, okay, the pod comes, we're getting in the pod. This is after the ship's moved above ground, and then they're talking inside about, well, how
Yeah,
do we
'cause
even
it's like
get
a
there
mile
while
up,
she's
yeah.
already like
Yeah,
in
no,
the
I
pod
love
going
that.
there.
That's
And
great,
then
too.
and then so we're like, okay, well, she's probably just going back to the room to tell them, but it becomes clear that no, that's not where she's going. She's going to a different part of
Yeah.
the ship. There's white and there's gas and there's
Yeah.
fucking Costello right there.
And Louise wants Costello to send the message to the other sites as well. And he's like, "No, dude, you got this. You have the weapon. Use the weapon."
Louise use weapon.
And she's like, "Come on, what's your purpose, guys?" And we get to think about how they want to help humanity so humanity can help them in 3,000 years. And I kind of love that it's like, oh, yeah, we have to give them technology so they can help us later.
Mhm.
There's something like that's very like compelling about that as like a story beat.
It almost feels like it's beyond technology, right? It's an entire new way of viewing your existence. So it's like it's almost like they came here to open our third eye so we could
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
get the fuck out of our way
This
as a
movie
humanity.
this movie has so much like Zen and like Buddhist commentary in it that I really, really, really appreciated.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, the idea of letting go and like just like, flowing through
Embracing
life.
your fate.
Yeah, embracing the
absolutely.
destiny. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really, really good.
And enjoying every moment. Like part of her being thrown around so much is that she does have to like be in the now, you know?
And I think this is when they kind of start spelling out more. She's like, "How do you know the future? Who is this child?"
Yeah. And then of
And
course
I think even the first time I saw it, I still didn't really quite understand. I was
starting to think it was the future. I remember a very specific part. Um I think because at this point he says Louise sees future, weapon opens time.
yeah.
But I was starting to think maybe there was some time shit going on, like with the non-zero sum game. I
Yeah.
think the first time I watched it, that was the moment
Yeah.
where I was like, okay, I think that there's something going on here.
Well, I didn't know yet. What is it? Branching timelines stuff? Is it like Dune? Like all the different possibilities that they're seeing here, or is it like, yeah. There's just it makes so much more sense on repeat viewings and
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
has so
absolutely.
much more context.
Yeah, I think it just totally clicked when he says Louise sees future, weapon
Yeah.
opens time. And I'm like,
Use
oh,
the
that's sick
weapon.
as fuck. That's really cool.
Yes, sir.
And then she's suddenly in like with the blinds drawn in that same room that we've
Yeah.
seen repeatedly. That same sort of like dinner table.
Yeah.
She's in the living room again.
Yeah.
But like not staring through the like glass.
Mm,
Like in the
shut
room
in.
with the light of the room itself, almost like
Yeah.
almost like the knowledge has come into focus and she is at home with it, you
I
know?
like it. I
And
like that.
and she is very much in the moment as herself in the present, confused in her living room, in her memory, where you see her like looking
Yes.
around, struggling to be like, wait,
That's what I
what?
love about the future power of looking into the future. Like you said, in a little bit later when she's at the banquet talking to the general and she's confused, like, I called you? I don't even know your number.
Right. Well, yeah, that idea of is it
Where it's happening
her?
at once. The present
Yeah.
and the future
Yeah.
is happening at once.
Yeah, so there is no like she doesn't forget in that moment. It's just that she's not she's experiencing it all happening at the same
Yep.
time. Yeah, it's extremely
The
tricky.
next part is I think one of the parts that really another really, really emotional part where like she is like walking away from like the shell and the shell starts like leaving
Mm.
and you like more of like they have orders to evacuate.
Yeah.
And she's trying to figure it out, like wrangle like this like new ability that she has to like see time in this way.
Yeah.
And you hear, "Are you gonna leave me like Daddy did?"
Yeah.
And she says he doesn't feel this. He doesn't look at me the same way. I had completely forgotten about this. That they break up because she reveals to him
Yeah.
she's going to die
Yeah.
Mhm.
before us,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and that he tells her that she made the wrong choice having the daughter.
So
That it was that if she could prevent any
Yeah.
amount of pain or suffering, and that she made the choice to not do that, that I think essentially he's saying you're selfish. Like you never see the conversation, but it makes it
You
even
can-
stronger.
yep.
It's like the notes you don't play, you know. But it really is like, could you imagine like you tricked me? Like you could have told me like you just let me like be a part of this, like to give birth to more suffering. And then
Yeah.
again, it's with that whole sort of like Buddhist notion of like, sorry, bro, like existence is suffering, but like live in the moment and like
Amor
take what
fati.
joy
Yeah.
you can.
She embraced fate. He did not.
Yeah.
It's not the wrong choice because you see so many shots of Hannah being happy
Yeah.
and living
yeah.
such a fulfilling life.
And
It doesn't
that's-
matter that it
that-
was
yeah.
cut short.
I mean, that's
It's
part
still
of this
worth it.
movie that really, really gets
I
me.
love it that she's so at peace with just having her time with her daughter. She doesn't need to try to fix anything, and she just wants to like enjoy herself. And I think one of the things like why it relates to like a relationship is like it was and it's gone, and it's so easy to feel like, well, I wasted my time, and it's like, no, you fucking didn't. Like, remember, like you had beautiful moments,
Yeah.
and like even regardless of saying like, oh, you grew as a human being, like you really want to give that back? Why? Why give that? Why give back life?
Yeah.
Those moments where you like truly
Yeah.
could not, like, time flew by, like the world around you didn't exist, and you just felt like you were the only person, like you and this other person are the
Yeah.
only people existing, you know?
Pain
That's
and
beautiful.
happiness do not cancel each other out.
Yeah.
Both exist.
Yeah, well, I mean, it reminds me of the Shakespeare quote, right? It's it was better to have loved and lost than to have never
Yeah.
loved at all, right?
That was Shakespeare?
Pretty sure.
And
Oh,
he
yeah.
also said bing bong.
Bing bong.
Fuck your life.
Yeah, I wrote next to he doesn't look at me the same way anymore. I wrote oof, ouch, it hurts, and then underneath that, he said I made the wrong choice, and I wrote tears
Yeah.
in my eyes. So that was the first time I went from like misty eyes, like feeling it coming, to
No,
like
that's
oh, they're
so-
like
that
my
fucks
eyes
me
are
up, yeah.
actually welling up. I'm like, damn, tears didn't roll out yet, but they're coming, baby.
Yeah, and that's where she comes out of that scene. She says, I just realized why my husband left me.
To
yeah.
her future husband.
To her future husband,
And
yeah.
on top of this, like, on top of all of this insanely good, deep, emotional, philosophical stuff.
You got the Ren dog dogging it up.
No, I was gonna say you
That dog.
you have the tanks coming in, you have the
Yes,
cars,
yeah.
the jets.
They're evacuating, yeah.
It's so high
The
tension.
end of this movie is amazing.
It's
I
so
have
good.
I have to say, with the stuff you've said about pacing, this movie is very modern in that sense. And I think kind of I was like, okay, this is like when Connor maybe is talking about some like how certain movies will drag at this point. This is like a clear example of like what he wants, right?
Oh yeah.
Like this and like The Thing,
Oh, yeah.
where you're just
It's
like,
picking up.
honestly, this is probably the best ending out of all the movies we've seen for me. Just the way everything's colliding together, all the intercutting. It's just like so beautiful.
It's so powerful,
And I'm-
so emotional,
yeah.
so philosophical, so interesting. Has so much to say about humanity. So well acted. All the visual stuff,
Yeah.
all the,
The
sci-fi
visuals
stuff.
of all the
It's
things leaving and they're all the
Her
different
name is Hannah.
environments.
It's a palindrome.
It's a
That's so
palindrome.
cute.
It's so good.
Her name is a palindrome because she sees time forwards and backwards now, dude.
So good.
Also, why doesn't the Ren dog see time forwards and
never
backwards?
he
learns the
doesn't.
language.
He doesn't speak their language.
Yeah.
Because he's a dirty little scientist.
It's too math
Instead of
pilled.
an, he's a math pilled. Okay. Oh,
Math
man.
pilled Ren dog.
He's a math pilled science maxer.
Oh, dude, okay. This scene of her wandering through the base while she's remembering herself in the future, reading her own book to
Yeah.
figure out what she needs to do here, like, it's so fucking
Oh,
cool.
man.
This is almost like a we like to talk about like when you get to know your powers or something in
Yeah.
like a movie. I love this part where she's like, I've tapped into like, it is almost like this sort of like tapping into like ancestral knowledge thing,
Yeah.
but it is like I've tapped into the cycle. Like, and I love the way that she starts flipping through the book. That's so fucking sick.
So cool. And she tells the colonel it's not a weapon, it's a gift. It's non-linear time. But
He
you know,
tries to explain. Of
yeah.
course, it doesn't make any sense.
yeah, he's just like, what? We need to get the fuck out of here.
What are you talking?
Yeah.
What are you
and-
talking about, crazy linguistics lady? Get
and
out of here.
This is when we get like another intercut of "Wake up, mommy," and then she's at the banquet.
Yeah. So
Um,
good. I love the way this is all like throwing you around.
So
Like all of the
good.
intercutting at this point is like
Perfect.
amazing. The editing and the cinematography,
I love
the
it.
acting, it's all so good.
It's perfect.
And the way her face carries over between scenes
Ooh.
almost.
I don't think I have any critiques
It's-
for the rest of the movie.
it's
just,
happening
like,
at the same time.
perfect.
Yeah,
It's
the ending
so
of this
good.
movie is like 10 out of 10. It is
Yeah.
like one of my favorite ending, and I'm just from now on I'm just crying, especially with the general Shang scene.
Yeah.
And it is like, yeah, it's easy, dude. Death, spousal death, my wife's dying words. And I love the way that he's like, I know the assignment. Like, I know there's some weird time shit going on.
Yeah,
and
I don't fully understand it, but here you go.
Yeah, and he's just like,
The only reason I'm here is to meet you in person.
it's so
I
good.
must confess.
It's sick.
Yeah.
I love it. It's almost like a heist,
I won't
like a
pretend-
time heist
yeah.
situation. It's like Tenet, but like I get it.
General,
It's like Tenet, but it makes sense.
I don't know your private number. And then he
You
just
do now.
Yeah, he just shows it to her. I love it. And I love how he's like, I got to close the loop. Like, he knows he's got to, like,
Mhm.
participate to, like, make it work.
And
But again, it's not just participating. It's like,
It's just happening at the same time.
it's just like what you're supposed no. What I was going to say is, like, it's not just participating. It's just doing what, like, just riding the
What
wave,
you're
doing what you're
fated to
supposed to do. The whole amor fati of it all, you know?
yeah.
Well, like the reason I say happening at the same time is that it closes the common time loop paradox where he can't not do that because it's already happened because she's already
But
seen
he's
it.
also always going to do that.
Because
Yeah.
it's happening at the same time.
Yes, because it's not
dude, it
going to
also
happen
already
again
happened.
in the future. It's happening now. It already happened. It's not like when she gets to the banquet in the future, things can go differently.
Yeah.
She just won't experience time at that moment because she already experienced it.
Well, there is no
think.
later. It's just more
That's
and
just
more
when it
you are
happened.
all experiencing
It's in a circle.
everything at once.
Also, I don't know what his wife's dying words were, but I do know at the very end of that scene.
No, I told you already. They're like, comment, and subscribe.
Okay, his dying wife in Mandarin said like, comment, subscribe. But my point was, at the end, as he's stepping away after he's done talking to her, he says "xie xie," which
means thank
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that this whole sort of denouement of the story, the whole like really awesome like tense scene is her stealing the phone from Halpern, running away, and like trying to just have enough time to do this. What I think is fucking awesome, and I wrote this down. I think I actually kind of phrased it in a good way. A super emotional film that makes so much commentary on humanity, but also has an amazingly composed and tense ending that doesn't involve physical violence. They
Yes.
point guns at her,
Yeah.
but it's not like an action scene.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It is almost like linguistic action of her like speaking to him in like Mandarin.
It's so enthralling,
Yeah.
and it's just the realization of all these experiences and emotions and what we can do. Like it's a unique kind of climax, I
And
guess.
if I could go back to the wonderful Amy Adams' acting in that
Yeah.
scene. Throughout the whole movie, she's such an academic. She's calm. She's not showing really. She's showing outward emotions in such a subtle way every time it's asked of her. In the closet where she's like, "Come on, Ren Dog, create a distraction for 5 minutes. That's all I need." She could be like, "Oh my God, what's happening? Like, oh my God, I'm being shot at. I have time powers. What the hell? I'm on the phone with the fucking general. Oh my God." But no, she's just cool, calm, collected. But you can still
Very
see,
tense.
obviously, she's panicking.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like that, the character does not reflect panic in the way that we traditionally reflect panic
Yeah.
or think people are reflecting panic. It's so believable.
Yeah.
Of somebody who just figured out that they can kind of see the future and they know they're going to be safe, but they still need this.
Totally natural feeling, totally organic. And I like that Ian comes in here. He chases after her through all this. And she's asking him to buy her 20 seconds. And
Yeah.
in fact, I mean, this is his hero moment, right? He's standing between her and guns.
I'm
pointed
sorry,
at her.
General, I can't do that.
I love that, man. Great.
Or whatever he
Yeah,
said. I'm just making
I
up lines.
I just read a trivia thing that she was the first choice. Amy Adams was for Louise, and she accepted the role within 24 hours of reading
Oh,
the
I
script.
love that. Of course, yeah. And yeah,
I would too. I'd make a great Louise, I think.
the music is also at its like its highest pitch here. Or like not highest pitch, but like it's most intense, right? It's the most drony, it's the most like this is the climactic moment. He says, "You are committing an act of treason," as they pull the guns on
Yeah.
them. And yeah, I mean, they were about to shoot them. I don't think that was just like they are selling their intelligence to
Yeah.
China.
Yeah.
And they refused to put down the phone. Like they were about to kill them. there.
Okay, are you guys ready for it?
Yeah.
The thing that she says.
Yes, please.
In war, there are no winners, only widows.
Damn. Great line. And like
So
such a
cold.
good line to have and not tell, because you don't need to know that, but if you do look it up, it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good, dude.
Yeah.
So fucking good. This is the same year that fucking Forrest Whitaker's in Rogue One, dude.
Oh wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get the news clips
Emergencies, a press conference. Everyone's gonna work together.
Yeah, and so
Everything
She
is great. The
saved the
world is
world.
beautiful.
And what I love about this that I'm realizing right now is that that was the climax of the movie, but it wasn't the emotional climax of
No,
the movie, which
no,
is
no.
just
Which
so
is the
good.
story that's
Because
been
usually
cooking
the
the whole
action
time.
climax is the happens when the emotional climax happens, but here no, it's like you
Or
get
you'll have the
a very
emotional climax, which empowers them to make the
yes, that's
plot climax.
yes, often, yeah, for sure. But yeah, here we have this amazing, super tense, on the edge of your seat scene with all these revelations, and then you get this like moment to breathe again. It's like China's standing down, and then it like yeah.
Can
Go
I say
ahead.
you don't even really care about this shit at this point because you're like, okay, but what about Louise? What's going on with Louise? What about Hannah?
Right.
What about like the Ren dog? Like what's going on? Like you're relieved that the world isn't gonna like that they're gonna work together and
Yeah.
it's very exciting, but it's almost like I don't give a fuck.
yeah,
like
now
give
it's
me
a
my
side
emotional
story.
catharsis.
Interesting. So I wrote here, China is standing down. All info will be shared, and I'm teary-eyed again. I don't remember getting teary-eyed at this moment, but I guess just like
It's just woven so beautifally into the rest of
is
what's
it
going
maybe
on.
the way they turn into mist? There's something so beautiful about
that
the
was
way they
after I
disappear.
wrote that. Yeah. But yeah, that was my next line.
It
The
is
ship's
beautiful.
dissolving into smoke is fucking awesome. No, I think it was
It was
the
emotional.
humanity
Yeah.
of the world working together, and I'm already so like emotionally boiling over or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I
think
especially was like as I'm kind of like crying a little bit through the end of this movie, the part where she's on the phone with him, and then you hear that they stand down, and it's almost to be like, oh, he like has this softness to him, and we saw it in the
and we
banquet,
yes.
but that did work. It did work, like
Yeah.
because you're almost like, is it gonna work?
Yeah.
Of course it worked, but it's just like when it does finally come together, there's just this beauty of like humanity, you know, and like of like it really makes you like kind of believe
Yeah.
in the best, like you know, kind of like that humanity can be such like a collaborative and like and how we can use emotion to like as a shorthand to be like, trust me, we can understand each other, you know.
Trust is a very delicate thing. General Shang, I think his name was, right?
Yeah.
He was painted the whole movie as this warmonger, big domino, gonna blow up the aliens. We're declaring war on the aliens.
Get out of our airspace.
Get out of our
Mahjong
airspace.
tiles.
Bullshit. And then at the fucking banquet, he shows up and he's just this nice, dignified old man. He speaks so softly and so respectfully, and he came there just for her to say thank you. And it's like, wow, you were like this the whole time. We were just getting, propaganda about you for this whole movie. And that has an emotional impact.
Absolutely. Yeah. That might have been it. Yeah, it's interesting that
Yeah.
I don't have I think it was just like so many emotions boiling over at this point that I can't even place
And
where
it's
it
all
started.
coming together at
Yeah.
once.
It's just the way I think it's just
It's converging.
I think yeah, it's probably the
Like
music probably
daylight.
had something to do with it too.
Oh, for
I think it
sure.
was just
Yeah.
everything coming together
It's
at
beautiful.
once.
It's
But the
beautiful at
music's
that
coming
point.
back in.
It's just flowing.
On the nature of daylight is coming back in at this point.
I love, and we get the movie is a like has not a palindrome, but it has these bookends where
Yeah.
it is
Hannah.
that same shot again
Yeah.
from the darkness to the light of like the window in like the house in the living room again,
Yep.
and we get the like this like montage, like this like beautiful again. It is like this sort of like film collage that I was talking about earlier. That is
Yeah.
just such an effective way of conveying so much emotion, you know. And we hear her saying, "This is where your story begins."
Yep.
The day they departed. And she says, "Despite knowing the journey and where it leads, I embrace it and I welcome every moment of it." And those are words that I hope to live by for the rest of my fucking life.
Can I read
Yeah,
I read a little bit of Nietzsche for you guys?
Yes, please.
My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati. That one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it.
Wow. Damn. Yeah, I mean that's the stuff that hits me the hardest, man, is
Yeah.
just living in a world that has so much suffering, so much heartbreak in it, and choosing to embrace it and accept the pain with the joy and not hide from it and just like,
And
live
not in a
life to its
want
fullest.
sadistic or
nothing
morbid
more.
way,
Yeah.
but in just like an acceptance.
Yeah, an
There's beauty
acceptance
in
and a
sadness.
love in
Yeah.
the sorrow that the sorrow like almost brings out the light of how beautiful it is to
Yes.
exist.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
so
Absolutely it does.
powerful.
Absolutely. And I mean, like, again, we have these shots with the very shallow depth of field. The wren dog is out there on the water drinking his wine, and we don't even really see him. We hear his voice first, and then we see him with Hannah, you know, and
Daddy's here, and she says,
I
"Daddy,"
I am
and it's a
crying at
beautiful
this
life.
point. Yeah, tears
Yeah.
down cheek. I wrote first
I'm
time
sobbing.
on Cinema Forecast.
this
Yeah,
this wrecked me, dude.
I'm choking up here, like just sobbing
no, I
right in
am-
the rest of these
I'm
notes.
making noises like I'm not even joking,
I
dude.
had some
Full
sobs.
on,
I
dude.
had some sobs.
I'm wearing headphones too, so
Yeah.
I can't even really hear me. And I'm just like fully embracing like being a conduit of emotion. Like, cause it's like, dude, one of the things about like art like this is like you have so emphatically made your point that I am connected to the string of humanity extending from this story through my soul. I'm one of the beads
Yes.
on this like fucking like necklace of like existence. And like me and everyone who's watching this or who has, no matter when or where, has felt this like deep like connection to existence, to humanity. And like that shit to me, like I don't believe in God, but like love to me is like that to me is like my religion. And I know that sounds so corny, but truly like love and understanding, like, you know, we are all like we're all together on this little planet ship called Earth, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's just, I mean, what can we say that we haven't already said? It
Space
just
Shuttle Earth,
fucking
baby.
Tears your hard apart, puts
Yeah.
it back together with like a little new light in it.
I
That's
love
what this movie
So
does.
good.
Yes, because it's
so
not
good.
like
Yeah.
it's not like I mentioned earlier the fountain, right? You know, man, I really for a while was a big fan of Darren Aronofsky. Really liked his stuff a lot. And I like, you know, I'm not saying I don't mind movies that are really just sad because there's a lot of life that is like super sad, but when it feels almost like it's like what's suffering porn, like that to me is just like nah, man, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's not quite it. And I love how this movie has something to say. I'm just such a fucking optimist, dude.
Life is beautiful.
Yes. I'm just like such an optimist, and it's just like, of course it gets me when it's like, yeah, this sucks, but guess what, dude? It
was
also
beautiful,
doesn't.
and
Yeah.
it was worth it.
Yeah.
And she
It-
chose yes, dude. That's the
Just
line.
like podcasting, we always know these episodes are going to be insane, but we do it anyway.
Is this the line right here that I also wrote down? Go ahead and say the line.
Well, it was just, do you want to make a baby? Well, so there's so many here.
No,
That
before
is a
that,
very
the big
sexy
one
line,
is
let's
the
be
big one,
real.
and this is what I alluded to earlier. If you could like see your
Yes.
whole life from
Yep,
start to
that's
finish,
the one.
would you change things?
Maybe
and
I'd
he'd
say what I feel more
maybe I'd say
often.
what I feel more often.
Yes.
And he doesn't. And I think in that moment she's giving him the choice, like, or there is no choice, but it almost feels like there's a window for her to be like to see like maybe I shouldn't, but
Yeah.
she can't, right? But there's still like the moment is so like feels like such a choice, right?
Yeah, in the contrast we get here from what I was talking about at the beginning with the lonely room, and now they're dancing in the living room, and
She's pouring herself
drinking
the wine.
and
She's
having
wearing,
fun.
a dress.
This is
She
where
got her
I
hair
see
and
her
makeup
drink
all
wine.
done
Like
up.
the only time
This
I
is
see her
the
drink
wine.
There
wine.
is a
It's
like,
a happy
I
wine.
didn't mention it, but right before this, like the beginning of this sequence, the room is dark and lonely again, and the wine is sitting there by itself on the table.
That's when she walks into frame, though, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if
And then he's
that's-
actually outside.
Oh, is
Mhm.
he?
Yes.
Okay.
And then he
okay,
comes back
then,
in, and then
Yeah.
they make a
There we go.
baby.
Yeah.
There we go.
The wine is happiness in this movie.
Okay. Okay.
Wine,
Drinking's
wine
good.
is
You heard it here,
happiness
folks.
throughout all of human history.
Yeah, dancing in the living room. I wasn't meeting them, or like the thing that surprised me the most about
Yeah.
this experience. It wasn't meeting them. It was meeting you.
Yes.
Beautiful.
I forgot how good it felt to be held by you, like
Yes.
Eugene said
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And that was the first time that he held her.
But is sexy as the want to make a baby shot is. It's the her I mean, it's the entire
Accepting it.
thesis of this movie.
Yeah.
It's that moment of
She's embracing
of
it.
her being like, yeah, yes. She says yes, yeah, like 2 affirmations. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I want to have this baby,
She's
knowing
resolute.
exactly where it's gonna lead, and it just
She-
fucking wrecks me, dude.
So in the
It's so
field
good.
when they're hugging, and she says, you know, if you could see your life from front to back, would you change anything? And she doesn't look happy in that moment. She looks nervous. She looks like she knows what she's signing up for. She looks confident that it's the right decision, but she doesn't look happy. In the dress and the wine and the let's make a baby scene, she does.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's had time to reflect.
Yeah, for sure.
She's happy.
There were a couple times things that came up during the episode where I said, okay, let's talk about that at the end. I can't really remember what they were. I feel like we probably did talk about them a lot,
Yeah.
but I remember you had asked something about like fate and
Yes. Do they even have a choice?
right. I don't think they do.
Yep. She said, yeah, if you could see your whole life from start to finish, would that change things? Or would you change things? You can't. If you're her, you can't. This is going to happen.
I am under the opinion that it is both. I believe the choice is destiny.
No, I totally get what you mean because it's like it is like
It's
yeah.
still you making that decision. Because, like, again, if we look at this from the outside of, like, it's all happening at once, it was still you that made that decision. It just happened at the same time you experienced all the results of that decision.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a no, but I also think it is kind of like a little like, yeah, like, and that's what's so compelling about it. That it is like, I see how things will turn out. It's almost like I see how things will turn out, and I kind of have an option to like turn away from them, but like also the whole crux of the movie is like, why the fuck would I do that?
Yeah. Exactly.
But see, the thing is also she's never seeing like alternate timelines or anything, right? Like
There's no alternate.
it's not like a
timeline.
Paul Atreides like
Yeah.
I see the one clear path.
Yeah. But it's not like she's making these decisions because
Yeah, I see your point.
she's not making it because she knows it has to happen. She's making it because
No,
she,
because she
she's
wants
embraced.
to.
She's
Yeah.
embracing.
She's
Well, because
embraced.
it's
She's
the
not
decision
resisting
she
it.
wants. It's her agency.
She's not simply bearing it.
Yeah.
She is loving it.
She chooses it.
I mean, again, she, despite knowing despite knowing the journey and where it leads, I embrace it and I welcome every moment of it.
Yep. And,
That's what she fucking said.
and we get a title drop here. I don't know
At
if
the
we've
end, great end title drop.
I'm trying to remember if we've had one of those.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember when, but yeah, just I mean the perfect emotional climactic moment to cut to black. You don't need. There's nothing else to say. You know, they said
Is There Will Be Blood a title at the end movie?
no. I think it just cuts to music.
Okay, there is a
I kind of remember one too. I just can't remember which one.
oh no, it says the end with like exclamation
Mm.
points, right?
Mm.
No, there definitely is one that we've seen like I think maybe even more than one, but definitely one. Yeah, fucking S tier, dude. I've been saying I'm just gonna go right out, dude. S tier for me.
I'm gonna give our very first S plus tier.
S plus.
That's not a thing.
It is.
That's
I
not
just
Okay,
a
made
I'll
it a
give it
thing.
a S plus plus. Connor, fuck you.
That's not a thing.
Okay, you're right. You're right. S plus.
Why not?
S plus it is.
Why not? You're gonna divide these tiers even further.
I just feel
Oh,
like
man.
you know, we've had not a lot of S tiers, but we've had enough S tiers. But this one it feels a step above those, and you know, I would say The Matrix is probably in my top 10 too, but this one still like hits
Yeah,
me so fucking hard.
yeah.
It taps into that
This is like-
primal.
This is like what movies are about, dude.
It's like what art's about.
This is like and I say this I feel like a lot. This is also like even the author Ted Chiang, he was like, it's amazing that the like book was good and like the novella was like somewhat well received and that the adaptation was well done because like sci-fi has a horrible history of adaptations, you know,
Yeah.
like a pretty
Yeah.
bad like hit percentage. Yeah, no, it's really
it's a masterpiece.
fucking well done. It's
right? We can all say it's a masterpiece.
yeah, I think but it's also
Thank you,
like
Denny.
it's using the medium. That's always the
Yeah.
key with art for
Yeah.
me is
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
like when you read like a really good graphic novel, it's like I don't want this to be a movie. And like as much as
Mhm.
we say that when we read really good books, like you don't want it. Like you don't actually
Yep.
want that. Like,
I
sure,
still want it, but it
like
won't ever be
but
better.
yeah, it's not gonna be the
know?
invite.
Won't be
Like,
the
I
same.
want it, but when I say I don't want it, I mean like I just want it for fun, right? And
Yeah.
because I like living in that world.
Yeah.
But with this, it's like this is such a great utilization of the medium. Because all of the intercutting, I'm thinking, how do you do this in a book? This is wild, right? It's first person.
I could just think
imagine.
like paragraphs, like little snippets.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure,
I can
totally,
imagine.
and that is valid, and that is probably very effective. And I'd probably read the book and I'd be like, okay, this is effective in another way, right? But when I watch this, I'm like, this is how this has to be.
And one of those questions I've asked so many times on this channel is, what is this movie without that frickin' song, The Nature of Daylight, man? That piece of music.
That he loves saying this channel.
Yeah.
The palindrome.
You're alienating the Spotify and Apple Podcast listeners.
Do they not call them channels on Spotify? Yeah, I guess it's not really. Okay, I'm sorry. This podcast, friends.
This squad.
Squadcast.
This squadcast.
The squadcast.
But just that, like, so much of the melancholy of the nature of daylight, how bittersweet that piece of music is, how beautiful and longing it
It's
is,
so
overcut
good.
all the themes of, like, with just everything else. It just lifts it
Yeah.
up so much. It, like, I don't know if I'd be in tears if it wasn't for that piece of music being
Yeah.
used there, you know. And
For
you can't
sure,
get that.
I absolutely would. I absolutely
I'm
would.
not
I would.
sure.
I
I
would
don't
if I want to rock and roll all night and party every day was playing. But this episode has gone on for a fair amount of time. So, any closing thoughts you want to get in about the movie there, Eugene?
Yes, thank you. I'm glad you brought up Freerin. I cried to this movie at the end the same way that I cry to Freerin every time the fucking end credits roll, because it taps into that same emotional core for me, which is it's a very human story. In Freerin, there's an elf, and she spends time around humans, and she grows close to them, and then they grow old and die. And there's always the question of, was it worth it? What's the point if you keep living? And then I ask both of you, do you love your cats?
Yeah.
Do you know that you're probably going to outlive them?
Don't tell me that. I'm not ready to hear it.
And it's still worth it. In fact, you can't
Wait,
tell me
wait. What?
it's worth having a cat.
Wait, what?
It is
I'm gonna-
worth.
My cat is gonna die before me?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that.
Say it ain't so.
Yes. And this is a truth, and we know it's the truth, and it is
Hey,
so
look,
sad.
look,
And
man,
it colors our
you're
experience with
also-
our cats.
You're also
But-
talking about this. My cats
but-
ran away. Like, I thought I would never. I'm probably never gonna see one of my cats ever again. And
was it
he might be dead right now, and I never got closure on it. So at least like if and when Beans dies, knowing that he passed and the situation, the context, man, I would take that a million times over not knowing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That's
so much
exactly my point. That's exactly my point. I'm not trying to compare cats to human children, but the experience, knowing it has a beginning and an end, and the end may be tragic, it's still worth it. It's still worth
Absolutely. Well,
our
so
cats and our kids and everything we know.
Well, I
would-
think also there's another aspect of this, philosophically speaking, for me, which is sort of this what's the word for it? But like that we've done this to these animals, or we've like domesticated them, and like now they're invasive species, like where most of us live. Like it's kind of our responsibility to take care of it. I see it as like a duty to society and to these animals. I honestly, bro, I think about pigeons so much, dude. Like
Yeah.
pigeons, those were our best friends. Those were
Yeah.
the way that we communicated. That was our internet. And we domesticated them. We were relying on them. We made them reliant on us. And then when we got fucking other forms of communication, we left them by the wayside. And now people call them fucking flying rats.
Top 10
And, like,
betrayals of all time.
Yeah, totally, dude.
Save the
top 10
pigeons.
top 10 anime betrayals of all time. Humans and pigeons.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, you told me the whole thing about how you relate free rein to your cats, and for whatever reason, that's a show that, from not to get this into free rein, but like
Yeah, no, we definitely can't.
I know. Just real quick, the first episode I was already like tearing up and stuff, but now after that context of thinking about my cats every time I watch free rein, yeah, dude, it's tears every time.
And all I'm saying is it's worth it. All the experiences are worth it.
Absolutely.
No matter if they end
That's
in
what-
tragedy. As
that's what
Fredo was
tears me up.
saying
You're
about
right.
relationships, same thing.
There really is kind of a very similar emotional core between this and free rein. So everyone go watch free rein.
It's not
after
about the
watching this one.
outcome. It's about the
Also, watch Incendies.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to watch Incendies.
You should. It's like one of my favorite movies, dude.
We should like do that on
Okay.
a podcast or something.
Oh, because we gotta do it for content. Speaking of doing it for content, Eugene, thank you so much for doing it for content.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much
very
And
for
much.
having
speaking
me.
of
I love my
content
cat.
and doing it for content and making more content,
It's time.
it's time to spin that freaky deaky wheel.
Oh my god. I think we could just cut here, honestly, because we recorded a little in that intro. We were like, wow, that was crazy. Like that movie's so good. And then we were like, are you ready? Let's spin the wheel. So I think we got it.
We literally had agreed that we were gonna pretend like we were spinning it right now,
That's
and-
fine.
and now you're changing your
Yeah,
mind
let's cut it in.
after all of your
Come
fucking
on, guys,
doubt.
let's spin
I
the
mean, you
wheel.
already said bye to Eugene. Let's just cut it in. It's
I didn't say bye to him. I said thank you for being on the episode.
It's kind of bye.
And
All
when
right,
I-
keep it all in.
And when
Let's
I
spin the
when I
wheel.
said earlier that's what I was gonna do, you're like, oh no, it's gonna be weird.
That's fine. I changed my
This should all be in the episode.
mind.
God, this is all gonna okay.
What do you want to
No,
do?
now it's all gonna be in the episode. Okay, so after ET, we wanted to be able to do some like time scheduling thing, and then I got sick, so it all like didn't really matter anyway because we couldn't record ahead of time. So what we had left on the, do you remember what the categories left are? Trapped,
Yep, trapped, movies in motion, and
out of order.
Out of order. That's it.
That's it. There wasn't a third one, a
Nope.
fourth one.
No. That's
Okay.
it.
So we spun the wheel. We can insert the little clip of us here.
Should we read out what categories are left?
Yes. We've
Alright.
got Trapped, Out of Order, and Movies in Motion.
Wow.
It's going to set the tone for August.
Yep.
What's August going to be like? Are we going to be all hot and stuffy in our houses? Are we going to be all disorderly? Are we going to be moving?
Let's find out.
Let's find the fuck out. Oh, she's spinning.
Oh my goodness, it's
Oh
spinning.
my god, what the fuck is gonna happen?
Oh shit.
Oh shit, oh
Oh
shit.
shit.
Is that out of order? Is that trapped?
Oh shit.
Oh no, there it comes.
Oh!
By a hair. It's
By a
movies in
hair.
motion.
By a hair, it's movies in motion.
And we got, and as you heard in that little clip, because I'm gonna edit it and make it sound real good, next month's is movies in motion. August is in motion.
And we're starting with Speed.
We're starting with Speed.
Great movie to start with.
Fucking love
Yeah,
Speed.
please speak as much as possible, Eugene.
to make so everyone knows this isn't edited.
Yeah, no, that you were actually here.
Yeah, I was here the whole time. That was a great clip of Alfredo spinning the wheel.
We did, yeah. We didn't spin the wheel live. We did it a couple weeks ago. But,
Sorry, listeners. Okay.
oh, they're fine. They don't mind. Oh yeah, and I was gonna shout out the listener who
Yeah.
had commented on some of our videos. They have a channel of their own.
Yeah.
It is Dal Winey. That's DalWhinny. Had some really cool background stuff about the Thing. A lot of really cool background stuff about Alien. They
Yeah.
have some cool movie videos on their channel. So go ahead and check them out.
They also mentioned that they are making a in-depth analysis on the Thing video
Ooh.
in the works. So
Yeah, he already has the Thing in Context, Thomas G. Waits interview, which I think is the character that plays Windows.
nice.
So pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you, Eugene, again for being on the episode. We're gonna have you on again
yeah.
for sure. We really appreciate your cogent analysis.
Thank you. We should do Arrival again.
We should do Arrival again, and we should pretend like we forgot that we saw it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thank you all so very much. As we like to say, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends you love them. Don't take any day for granted, and despite knowing how the journey goes, embrace it. Each and every day. Yeah, that's been us. That was Cinema Forecast. Find us on social media, Cinema Fourcast. We've been pushing those reels, those clips. I hope y'all are liking them. I'm having a lot of fun working on them
Yeah.
and
Shout out
making
to
them.
Alfredo because I've been loving
Thank
seeing
you.
you put those out.
They're so good.
Yeah,
They
and
got me on the podcast.
And I appreciate all the views we're getting. Yeah, I definitely love to see maybe just comments or feedback. I guess the views speak for themselves. Whatever. Anyway, it's been lovely having you here. Enjoy this 4-hour episode
boy.
about the movie Arrival. And remember, I also listened to it all the way through,
Hell yeah.
from beginning to end.
Sometimes backwards and out of
And
order.
then beginning. That's how I edited it, actually. Whoa, peek behind the curtain. Okay, well, thank you so much, Eugene. I love you, buddy. Connor, thank you so much. I love you. Thank you so much to all of our listeners. And as always, we will see you
In the forecast.
cast.
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 Cast.